Oh, it says Dave Juskow joined. Are you here?
Yeah, yeah, I see it. All
Hey, are you here?
right.
Hey, hi.
Wait,
Hey,
what?
Memo.
Memo, you and Dave are in the same place?
We are to make it easier for you.
Dave, let me hear you.
Hello?
I don't think you have
Juskow.
to worry. I don't think you have to worry about his volume. That's one thing you don't have to.
Well, yeah.
Well, I want to make sure because, I mean, I already know we're in trouble for having crappy audio, and if he's going to stand off in a corner and then later be like, I can't believe you couldn't pick up my voice, I got to know.
You know him so well for not knowing him.
Oh, I
We're
know him.
sitting,
I
we're
got
sitting
his
next to
number.
each other.
Oh, okay. Are you holding hands?
No, not yet.
All right. Just checking.
By the end of this podcast, who knows?
He'll probably be on your lap.
If we're on Skype, how come we can't see each other?
Because
Because Donna doesn't do video Skype.
I do not do video Skype, and I certainly don't do it at 8 o'clock in the morning.
It's called fucking vanity.
Wouldn't that have been more entertaining?
For us, yeah.
It's an act of kindness, believe me.
we were thinking the same thing on our end.
Oh, okay.
Since you guys are still in your PJs and fuzzy bunny slippers.
He's in his underwear all the time now that he doesn't have a job.
Then yeah, it's an act of kindness.
I mean, it would be nice to see you guys.
Oh
Yeah.
Well, you can see Dave. Dave, why don't you guys video Skype and I'll just
Well, I don't even know how to switch that over. What do
I'll
I
just
do?
be my cute meme or my cute avatar. That's all you guys
I-
can see.
I have no idea how to switch
We
it over.
could switch the button. We should be on. Oh, yeah, we can see.
Oh, wait, there you go. All right. Can you see me though? You
No,
can't see me.
you have to hit your button.
Oh, the little camera button.
Yeah,
All right, I just hit it.
there
Just
he
said
comes.
video turned off. Oh, there I am.
Oh, there he is. Oh, there you go.
Yay! All right.
I could put this.
All right, Donna. Now it's your turn.
Is that too? Okay.
It's not even funny. There's absolutely zero way I'm turning my camera on.
Come on.
Sorry.
What could possibly?
Why not?
No. I like the
Why?
air of mystery. Look how cute I am in my little avatar right there. That's just
You are cute in
It
your
is
little
cute.
avatar.
Come on, just put it on.
No.
Why not?
I said no.
How bad is it,
Hanging
Donna?
up.
I said no.
That's not cool. You know, Memo drove all the way over here from Queens in the morning.
I rode my bike.
Yeah, he rode his bike here.
It's
It
true.
makes me
You have
so
no
happy.
idea how difficult that is. The least you could do is put on your video camera.
Yeah.
Not doing it.
Put a hat on.
Donna, if it's your hair, put a hat on.
Put a hat on.
harassing me. Stop harassing me. I'm not doing it.
You can wear one of those like anonymous masks. It's
I've
like
got like
Super
a
Nintendo.
paper bag over my head.
If you don't put that camera on, I'm pressing hang up.
He will too. You know, the compression makes it all softer, whatever it is you're trying to hide, like because it's all
Yeah.
pixelated. So it's like you're wearing makeup. It's like it adds makeup.
Yeah. Yeah, Donna. It takes 10 years off.
I'm not doing it. So either hang up or let's move on.
All right.
don't do that just because gonna hang up.
I know. I can see his face. Oh my
Okay,
gosh,
switch-
he literally left.
Did they? No, they must have messed up.
It said, my corner said Juskow left. They left.
Well, did you make them join back? Donna, how bad is it?
I haven't showered or anything. There's no way.
Put a hat on.
No, I don't. No, I'm not comfortable with that. I just am not.
God, you are so vain. If you could only, here, like I'm going to take a picture of myself and send it to you so you can see what I look like.
I can see you. You're still on video. I see you taking a picture of
Oh,
yourself.
you see me?
Yeah, I see you.
How many fingers am I holding up?
Well, let's see. It's 2, 3. And you've got your Turbocharge shirt on. You've got your headphones with your little mic. I saw
Yeah. You
your
see my
Star
little
Wars.
necklace?
Yeah.
That's,
Oh,
That's got all the babies' names on them.
yeah. Aw,
Little
precious.
Yeah.
Oh, Juskow's joining back in.
Go. Now they came back.
Oh,
All right.
we continued without you guys.
Didn't work. It
That's
didn't work.
right.
She's that vain.
We
Dave-
want to hang up again, though.
Yeah.
Dave Curry was
Hey, that's an
comforting
awesome.
me.
I didn't realize that's a T-shirt. That's a great T-shirt.
Yeah.
Hey, see, that's so awesome.
That's cool.
All right. So shall we get started,
Yeah.
gentlemen and
Yeah.
anonymous lady?
Don't, Dave. Only you ask the questions. We're not speaking with Donna.
Oh my
So, I mean,
gosh.
how much fun is it? Donna, please. I don't even want to talk to you. Dave, I mean, how much fun is this? We're all looking at each other, right? This is like, it's festive. Donna, you're no fun. Could you hang up and just Dave and I'll do it and Memo? That'd be really helpful. I'm pretty angry.
Oh.
I just can't believe you won't turn on your camera. This is so exciting. I never get to do this. And here we all are, and we're in different states. And you couldn't do this 10 years ago, and yet you won't comply.
Surely Dave's seen more unkempt women than you, Donna. I mean, come on.
She's not answering now.
Well,
Donna!
It's probably best if she just hangs up.
Oh, stop it. All right, we're just gonna get started.
This is a great start. I've seen him do this to waitresses, and it never ends well. So I apologize in advance.
I'm really pissed.
So Donna.
Okay. So, do you want to give me 20 minutes to take a shower?
Oh, jeez, Louise.
Gotta be kidding. We have a friend coming over. 20 minutes.
Hey, Donna, I'm gonna get started. Are you recording?
Yep.
All right, let's just get started. All right, so we do our little intro, and then we'll just get started. All right, Donna. So I'm gonna count down in 3.
To Night Thoughts, the Cars podcast. The Panorama's #1 source for news, reviews, and thoughts about the new wave rock legends, the Cars. Oh, and a little bit of Steel Wool, Sunshine, and Rainbows.
Hey, welcome to Night Thoughts, the Cars podcast, episode 59. I'm Dave, and I have absolutely no headroom on the VCAs. And joining me, Idaho's pride and joy. She's got a squirrel on the wheel powering up the internet, our own sweet purple June, Donna.
Hey.
Hi, Donna. How's it going?
It's going okay.
Can I just say you look fantastic today?
Oh my gosh. Thanks.
Yeah. Wait, Donna, some people loved it. Some people hated it. Some even wrote hilarious negative reviews about it. But we're talking more Turbocharge today with creators Dave Juskow and Memo Salazar. How's it going, guys?
Hey. I may be the only one speaking.
Dave's not talking. Dave is now protesting. We've got a podcast protest going on.
He's protesting climate change.
All right. Well, let's start off the show, guys. Shall we start off with an Idaho intervention for Donna?
What do you mean?
This is an Idaho intervention. We want to convince you to move out of Idaho.
Oh.
I love my Idaho.
You love your Idaho?
I'm not going anywhere.
All right.
Can you say the top 3 things about living in Idaho? That's a sincere question.
Top 3 things about living in Idaho. Well, where I live especially, we're kind of out in the woods we're about an hour away from the big city, and so we've got peace and quiet. We've got amazing woods and rivers and skiing, outdoor stuff. And
is your outhouse like on the edge of the woods?
I don't have an outhouse.
Oh, that's close.
We have all of the modern amenities, but without the big city feel. Okay.
All right,
I can't do this with Juskow looking like that.
It's not going to get any better because she can see you on the little...
Wait, she can see us, but we can't see her?
This is going to get...
I know!
What an asshole.
This reminds me of the scene. This reminds me of the scene in Turbocharge when they're arguing about the shirts before the
sack?
Yeah, with Brian Gumble. And then, the camera rolls on and they're all smiling. Except, I guess we're not smiling. Was Kevin Cash
really
smiling?
Pissed off.
He was really mad. Jessica's angry. He's going to do an angry interview, which I think we just have to accept.
Those are the best.
I wouldn't pressure you, Donna, ordinarily. I'm like, whatever you want to do is fine. But you may, for the sake of your show, want to turn on the video chat.
I'm not doing it unless I take a shower. So.
Oh, wow. Do you have cold cream on your face, Donna? You know, the mask?
I know what you're talking about, but this isn't funny to me anymore. So
All right, yeah.
Not funny to us either.
yeah, clearly. So I don't know.
Well, maybe this interview isn't for you.
Well, we could just keep going. I mean, I don't need you to turn on the video chat. That's fine.
So we could just talk to Dave.
No, we'll be cutting all this out.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm fine. You don't have to put that. I was
I'm
just
also
suggesting.
go with the flow kind of guy. If any of you have ever listened to my podcast, you would know I am not.
It's true. This pretty much is how we got the movie made. This right now, so which is why it took 4.5 years. But yeah.
Well, let's start off. I started off yesterday morning listening to the soundtrack. I put kind of a soundtrack together, and I'm walking into school down the hallway, and I catch myself whistling Mr. Green Screen, which was totally surreal to me that I'm walking down an elementary school hallway whistling Mr. Green Screen.
I don't know how to respond to that.
It was just weird. I'm just thinking, if somebody asks me what this is I'm whistling, how do I explain this to them? I don't know.
How many times have you seen the movie by now?
I have no idea at this point. I just watched it again this morning.
I watched it last night.
So you guys probably have seen it more than I have. Well, other than if I remove the editing process of, I don't know how many times I've actually sat down and watched the whole movie
from beginning to end. Yeah.
I mean, just editing makes you never want to see anything that you worked on ever.
Yes.
Just whatever it is. So as you probably know, even with the podcast, so you guys probably know it better than I is what I'm saying.
Well, I would say that Donna and I most definitely have seen the movie the most out of the fan base.
I'm sure.
So we should be getting some kind of plaque for that, I'm sure.
Well, it's on your chest.
No. There we go. Yeah. All right. So I know we just have kind of questions that Donna and I want to ask, or things that we want you to explain to us and so forth. I'm going to start with a big one, and this is the joke that Donna and I talked about a lot back and forth, and neither one of us, I think, had the guts to bring it up and just come out and ask the non-joke in the movie at the beginning, the horse and the penguin picture.
Oh, you mean what's up with that joke?
Well, yeah, because neither one of us.
What is the joke? Yeah.
We didn't get it, and we just figured it's a non-joke.
Yeah, I'll field that one, David. What happens was, okay, so the original version of this, you probably already know. Tell me if I'm repeating all this, but the original version of the movie did not have a penguin and a snowman in it. In case you were wondering, it was literally just imagine all the scenes strung together without the penguin and the snowman. Yeah, you can turn on the light. And so, Juskow wrote the script. We kind of just filmed what he wrote. I put it together, and it didn't make any sense because it just kind of jumped around from scene to scene with no structure or anything. So at that point, I was like, this isn't working at all. I got a little... Well, I don't know. I remember just feeling anxious because I had spent I don't know how long on this thing, and it was just didn't make any sense. And I mean, I kind of knew that when we were filming it, but I just sort of assumed Juskow knew what he was doing, and then I said he didn't. So I organized a screening. It was a memorable day. I organized a screening in my living room with a bunch of my friends who kind of all work in film and TV and whatever, and Juskow, and we watched it. And then when it was over, I was there was silence. And then, people started giving their thoughts and whatever. And, it was pretty much just, there was a lot of funny scenes, but, it was hard to follow what was going on. There was no through line. It didn't make any, sense. Because it's just, imagine pulling out all the narration and you're just jumping from scene to scene. So then Juskow went into, a year-long depression, which I don't think I'm exaggerating. And so the movie just sat there. And then he finally... was okay, let's finish this. And in the meantime, we'd been throwing like ideas of like what narrative thread to put together. And then one day, and I give him all the credit, he was just like, "Hey, why don't we do like a Rankin Bass like Frosty the Snowman thing?" Yeah, that works. Which I was, at first I was like, what? And then it kind of made sense in a weird way. I mean, it doesn't make any sense. So then we worked on like those narrative connecting bits, and then Juskow got Jonathan Katz from Dr. Katz to do the narration. So we went up to his place in Massachusetts and we recorded him in his home studio. But, Jonathan Katz is Jonathan Katz, and he kind of just says whatever. And so a lot of like, he's very dry. And so he had the dialogue, but he would just improvise stuff over it. And one of them was like, well, how do you explain this photograph? So like he had stuck that in there. And he was just responding to the Penguin's previous line, I forget whatever it is, yes. But nobody explained it. He just said it. So then when I was animating it, I was like, well, now I have to like animate to this to make it sense. So then I just added that drawing, like I just, and so that's it. I mean, it's like it doesn't make any sense. It's just Jonathan improvised that, and then we had to like work around it to make it something. So, wow. I mean, it doesn't make any sense, which is, yeah, you're right. It's a total non-joke. There was no like, well, Rick Ocasek in 1964 was horseback riding. There's nothing like that.
Well, yeah. Well, I thought there was a Godfather reference or something. I was thinking, what could it be? I don't know.
We're not that clever.
Well, you're pretty clever, because one of the things I love is at the very beginning when this music is starting and those newspaper articles are coming, being layered on there. And I've paused it and tried to read, because at first I thought you'd have the headline and then you'd have like maybe 6 words and then it would sort of purposefully blur out because it was just gibberish. But there's actually, it looks like whole, paragraphs there of Cars related stuff, and so of course I'm like, I gotta read that. I want to see what those articles are.
If I can find the Photoshop file, I'll send it to you.
Oh, I would love it. I saw something about Paulina's phony accent. It's the one about when Rick marries Paulina, and then of course the headline about the Muppet Babies crying because of the new Cars show, and just hilarious looking stuff.
Yeah, did you do any? You did. I did all that. So yeah, I mean, I was like, well, let me watch what Rankin Bass did. And that's how their special starts. So then I thought, oh, well, let's just keep the parody going. And so I just literally copied what they did. Like, it starts off with this old footage of like, I mean, it's completely exactly how, whatever the hell the name of it is.
If I was happy right now and wanted to talk to you, I would say that, because I might walk away.
Yeah.
So angry. I cannot.
You just want to go check the spread.
Well,
no, there's nothing happening now. I'm really angry that she won't turn on that video. It's not cool.
Memo, would you hold his hand? Can you hold his hand, Memo?
That's a bad.
No, you're just pissing me off more and more. Everything you say, every time I hear your voice,
Lord.
I'm getting annoyed.
So,
Juskow, are you being 100% serious?
Yeah, he is. I wish I could say he was joking.
Well, then we should be done. Well,
crap.
Go in the shower, and Dave and I and Memo will talk.
Okay.
For 20 minutes, you're gonna go. Oh, she's going in the shower.
Good. Now let's get serious. I will tell you this, David.
Wow.
The opening scene, it's all Memo's doing. I mean, when I saw it, I was like, boy, this is unbelievable.
Yeah, I don't remember it. Like, I don't remember exactly. I just remember I just kept going with the joke, and making up all that stuff. And it was fun. It was like, I mean, it was more work that, like I can't even begin to describe.
I think the opening credits are my favorite thing in the entire movie, especially even the music.
Yeah. And the whole going to the I don't know what you call it. I guess the who's starring in the movie with the presents and so forth. That's directly from.
Yeah, that's my favorite part. That was all Memo's doing. He's a genius.
Yeah.
Gabor, we got to give Gabor credit. So.
Oh my God, that was that guy we told you about. That, when we said we were going to do it, then he came up with all the dolls. Like, I told you, Memo went to his house and it was like that Back to the Future scene where he's like, please excuse the crudeness of this model, but he had built this entire village. It was unbelievable.
Yeah.
No, he built that whole set. I just kind of showed up and he was like, look, I did this. And I was like, what? It was pretty impressive. So he has this big, he has a big old house in Massachusetts. So I went up there and I spent a week animating all that stuff. I'm talking about obviously not the newspaper stuff, but all the actual stop motion animation.
Yeah. And he has all those. I mean, they're probably deteriorated by now.
Well, so he found them, thanks to you guys actually, and sort of pushing this along. Like he's got inspired and dug up, like when he sent me pictures like a little while ago, and he had the dolls still, and they were deteriorating, and he said, I'm going to try to fix them up. So he's kind of been working on them a little when he has free time. So they do exist.
That's why we should film something again so we can do best animated short. I was looking at some of the ones for the Oscars this year.
Oh, yeah.
They're all horrible. I mean, why can't we just put our dolls in?
Why not?
I guess
there's a Rick Ocasek in Wonderland.
Yeah.
And I did this.
But
before.
we can do the last days of his life, where his wife, where he kicks his wife out of his will.
Done in stop motion animation.
Yeah, exactly. It's not a bad idea. And people are like, no, these guys are obsessed with the cars for some God knows reason.
Yeah. Yeah. The weird thing about Rick Ocasek's death is that I think I've talked to you before, Dave, about all the what we call the Orbots, all these weird fans who claim to have psychic connections with Benjamin Orr, that he visits them in their dreams, just weird
just say
stuff.
Donna's name.
No, Donna's not like that at all. But these are just, really strange people. And now that's starting to happen with Rick Ocasek, and it blows my mind. But we all have our favorite celebrities, and they pass on, and you feel terrible. It's an end of an era. But when you've got people who are posting day after day after day, oh my God, I miss him. I miss his smile. I miss, blah, blah, blah. How will life ever be the same? It's like, you're a little too far on the spectrum there, person. It just it's
crazy. Rick Ocasek's smile.
Wait, did you just lose half your audience saying that? Is that a...
I've always been a Rick guy, and we've done like a couple of episodes talking down about the crazy Benjamin Orr fans. So no, we haven't lost any of our audience. But
did you hear that they spelt his name wrong in the
it was on the Grammys. In the Grammys.
Well, the Grammys, they spelt his name wrong. What an ass.
Well, speaking of that, so us ignorant people always say Ocasek.
Yeah.
You're obviously saying Ocasek, which I'm sure is the correct way of saying it.
But that's what you get. That's why your name gets spelled wrong at the Grammys when you're a dick. And you don't say it the right way, or your beatitude or beautitude. That's what you get.
Well, that's what makes it brilliant. That's it's
that's the kind of brilliance I'm talking about.
From what I understood, it didn't matter to him how people pronounce it.
He didn't care. That's what I was going to ask you. Did it bother him that they're always butchering it?
It would bother me. It's bothering him. He came to me last night, and he said it's bothering him that they misspelled his name in the Grammys.
I know, yeah. I think it's only a matter of...
And he goes, I can't believe they spelled it wrong. I gave them every opportunity.
I used to say in the early days Ocasek too, but then I think what changed that with MTV, when he'd say, hi, I'm Rick Ocasek, and he'd actually pronounce his name correctly.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, but I've heard
but I never heard anybody. People always said okay. Like I've never heard people say Ocasek.
Yeah, I feel like Ben Orr used to say Ocasek, because it would piss him off. I call David Attell David Attell.
Right.
It really gets him off.
And what is Rachel Feinstein?
It's Feinstein. Yeah, it took me a while to figure that, because I was like, could you be any more Jewy with that name? And Feinstein is worse than Feinstein, actually. Yeah. So then I always tell myself, I know it's Feinstein because it's more Jewy than you could possibly imagine.
Which, by the way, history. That's the first time Jewy has ever been said on our podcast.
Oh, you're welcome.
Yeah, he can say that because he's a Jew.
I think I'm the first we've ever had it.
I can do all the Mexican jokes you want to get away with. It's fine.
Yeah, we got this gay guy coming over later, too. What a day for me.
Well, there went 3/4 of our audience. Holy crap.
Liza Minnelli's publicist coming over later.
Oh.
Yeah, no, it's actually true, yeah.
Yeah. All right, so let me ask you this. One of the gems of the movie, the part that I really like the most is the trifecta of the calm destruction of the hotel room, which goes into the music montage, which goes into Jack Holtzman with the Panorama album. The Rick Henriksen. How did that come about? Using his music.
I'll field that one, Dick.
I'll field that one, Brian. And I'm talking to you, Mr. and Mrs. Front Porch. That's always funny. I don't know. Was that even in the script?
I don't remember.
I used to be part owner and mostly hanger-outer of this bar called Caliban on 26th and 3rd. And this kid, Rick Henriksen, was a regular. And, we just all used to have a connection at this bar. So he was a musician. I was a comedian. My friend Vincent was an actor. And there was models. So one of these guys was Rick Henriksen. He hung out at his bar with his girlfriend at the time. He lived on Elizabeth Street, which is in Little Italy. He was a great guy. And we used to see him play a couple times because I always thought everybody – that's the thing about this bar, and I guess that's why I brought it up, is that no one seemed to be full of crap there. Every time you'd say, I'm a musician, I'm a writer. I mean, this bar was insane. These models were actual models. They were working models. It wasn't like people were full of shit. It was the most unbelievable place on the planet because, most bars, people are full of crap. But we went to go see everywhere. We got to see him play once, and he was really good. He was obsessed with Elvis Costello, which is, you can probably tell in most of his lyrics. Uh-huh. And then he put out this album, which I thought was amazing.
Yeah, it's an amazing album.
It's an amazing album. And I said, do you mind if we use it? And he goes, you use whatever you want. What the fuck do I give a shit?
Yeah. And that's the only album he ever put out.
It's the only album. Then he left the business. He worked at Crate and Barrel. He got married to some other girl, had a baby, and I can't even find him online. I wanted to thank him and say, hey, we're putting out the movie and all this stuff. He doesn't care. He signed a thing. Everything's cool. But, yeah, we don't even know where he is. I mean, it's worse than Kevin Cash working at Rikers. Never to be seen again. That album was great. We used the While She Whistles Wiley at the end, too, for Kevin to sing at the end. I mean, yeah, that album became a treasure trove for us, between him and Eric Barrio letting us use all their stuff. It was really great guys, really talented people. Eric's, still, I mean, he should be more famous, but Rick does, he doesn't try anymore, but.
Yeah, Eric's doing pretty well, like locally in Boston. He's usually at the top of
I know, I want him to be better.
And so on.
Yeah.
Want him to do better because he's such a sweetheart of a guy, and I love his music. And so Cars influenced, that's why I like it so much. It's very melodic, and he, likes the keyboards.
He does.
Now, you talking about Okasik, it's Eric Barrow, which is going to blow your mind. No, it is Barrow.
Yeah, I know. But I'm going to call him that because I'm going to teach him a lesson.
Oh.
Just say your name the way it is. No, I don't know. He probably told me that 100 times, and
Did he?
I don't listen.
He told me because he was on our podcast, and
what?
Yeah, he was on when we just before or after we did the first Turbocharge episode, he was on. But I asked him, okay, Eric, how do you pronounce your last name? And he said Barrow, like wheelbarrow. So that's how it stuck.
Oh, see, now if you say it like wheelbarrow, now I can understand it.
Yeah.
That's better. Thank you.
Yeah, there you go.
No, then I'll be able to remember it. I need stuff like that to.
This is probably a dangerous thing to ask, but if Donna's listening, will you come back? Because
I think she's showering.
You.
Yeah, she's showering. She's going to.
She's actually showering.
Come back.
Oh, it's good. It's all good.
Yeah.
Come on, I got in a better mood.
I am not comfortable doing the solo thing here.
I know.
Why not? You're doing a great job.
Let me tell you how this Night Thoughts podcast works. People love Donna.
What?
I'm the guy that pisses people off.
Yeah, she's
right?
like Kim Deal. She's like
I'm the guy that people tolerate. It's all Donna. Donna could do this show by herself.
Kim Deal of the Pixies. Everybody loves her and hates Frank Black.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's because they don't care for his life.
So trust me, I'm probably going to get all kinds of shit for Donna having to go shower to come back to this.
Hey, that's her problem. I mean, what's the story? I mean, we're all having a good time on video chat. I said Memo rode his bike over the Queensboro Bridge to be here. Yeah, why don't you shower and make yourself look nice for my friend here?
There we go.
He's using me. Thanks.
There's Donna. There you go.
Yeah.
Well, look how
Donna's
pretty she
great.
is. Yeah, what's the matter with her?
She's wearing Eric's jacket that he bought from Rick Ocasek.
Oh, yeah. Listen, we love Donna. I mean, Donna's great, but I swear to God, I couldn't do it if I knew that she was watching us and we can't see her. I know that it was driving me crazy. So I feel, you can see how much better mood now that she's gone.
And
I can't wait for her to come back.
I just want to say the opinions expressed on this podcast are not necessarily reflective of.
Yeah, Memo's the coolest. He can go. He can go with the flow. Memo's the. Yeah. It's amazing. He's great. He doesn't care. He knows how angry I get about this stuff. I would have been the worst guest. It wasn't the right. It was best if she left.
But to give you, since this is about Turbocharge, this does bring up the fact that when we were working on the film, I barely knew Juskow. And so shooting went pretty well, all told. We even had some like really hairy moments, like when we were shooting in that, that studio and that guy walked out, the flock of seagulls guy just left and he never came back. And everybody's like, there was like all these things that happened. And, but we made it through and whatever. And it just seemed normal to me. And literally every single person that knows Juskow, all his friends, all the comics that were in the film and whatever, would always walk up to me and be like, I don't know what you're doing, but he's like, I've never seen him this calm. Like he's behaving like he would have usually had like destroyed the place by now. Like everybody was so
and I can tell you exactly why. It took every ounce of my being. The first day of shooting, I said to myself, all these people are working for free. They're doing us favors. I am going to be extra polite. Nothing is going to get me mad. Nothing's going to get me upset. Everybody's doing me a favor. And I'm going to take the time to remember everybody's name, because I'm really bad at that. And I'm going to really, really try. I mean, this is how hard I had to work at making sure that I wasn't the normal person I usually am. And then the first guy I met is this guy, Gabor Menshkovitsky, the worst name that anybody can ever have when you're doing your best to remember somebody's name. How do you pronounce that last name?
Medvetsky.
Gabor. And I'm like, what? Is this a test? Is this a test?
Which, by the way, it's Gabor, but nobody.
You see what I'm saying? Gabor.
Nobody says
everybody else was named Joe and Steve and Mike, and I was just like, I mean, I was already, Memo, but Gabor, I'm like, you're challenging me now, aren't you? Somebody told you to do this, but I really had to. Yeah, I mean, I'm crazy and very angry all the time, and I had to put it in my head to try and not be that way. Yeah. I wish I could do that on a daily basis, but I can't.
You just have to keep working on movies all the time. Yeah, no, it was truly like I got to know him later and be like, oh, this is the guy they're talking about. Yeah. But it was, during the film, it actually went really well.
Yeah, I tried really hard. Yeah. I'm sorry. Maybe you should have told me today. You should have called me yesterday and said, like, listen, John is insane, and just be prepared.
Well, back to Eric. What I really like all of the soundtrack work that he does in there, and he actually played for us when he was on the podcast his evil Phil Collins, which I think is genius. It's incredible. I don't know if it's in the film, and Eric seems to think it's in there during the time when Ben meets Phil Collins in the street.
Right.
Oh, the evil Phil Collins music.
Right. The underscore that's there when they're talking and he's sort of giving him his speech about how to act as a, he's giving him advice. Yeah, I mean that's Eric's music under there.
Yeah.
I don't know. He maybe composed more, and we just used a bit of it to make it fit the scene.
We tried to make it like Animal House, where each character had their own theme.
Yeah, that's great. And using the cautions music in there too. When I first, I didn't know what Eric looked like, and I wondered if that was him actually in the movie. And he said no, they had a gig that day or something when you were filming that. And then I made the connection that it's you, Memo, on the drums in that scene.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Okay. Yeah, we just
forgot you had that long hair.
Yeah, I had my long hair back then. So we just needed like a bunch of people, and so Rachel's brother.
That's Rachel Feinstein's brother.
Is like the lead singer, the Rivers Cuomo.
Yeah,
the girl on the bass, is that Danny Bonaducci's sister? Because she has no clue what she's doing in there.
No, her name is Amber Tozar, and she used to be a comic, and I think she moved to Colorado or something. She's very pretty. But yeah, she had no idea how to play the bass. I should look good. Who's that? Who else? Who's that other guy? Wolfie? What was that kid's name?
No, that kid. Who was that kid? I don't even remember. He was like.
Yeah, where did we find that kid?
He came to help. He was helping somehow.
Oh yeah, he was just helping, right?
How did we find that
Wasn't
guy?
he like an NYU student?
I don't even remember anymore. That's a really good question. He came to help. He was in the crew, and we were like, oh, we need a fourth person. Like we kind of just improvised.
But he looked good.
Yeah, he looked.
You guys looked like a band from the 90s. I mean,
Right.
It's really weird.
Right.
Yeah.
That was the basic idea. Was
And what we called them, Whizzer.
The Whizzer?
in
That was the name
Juskow's
of the
mind.
band. They were called Whizzer, not Weezer.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, Whizzer.
I thought we put that in the credits.
Oh, maybe.
I think we put it in the credits, Whizzer.
As you can tell, like Juskow's naming convention is like Pengy, Breezy,
Yeah.
Wizard.
You just
I
put
don't
a
know.
Y on the end of it. Yeah.
I have a limited brain capacity.
Well, Eric he just put out a new album, Obsolete. So if
Yeah.
you haven't picked that up yet, I mean, it's incredible.
Good. I heard the
Yeah,
whole thing.
yeah. It's really catchy. He's good. He's really good.
Yeah.
We were lucky
Yeah,
to
we're
find
always
him.
rooting for him. We like him a lot.
And he came to, when we had that Ben Orr book event in Boston, he came there, so it was really cool. Didn't get to spend much time with him, but yeah, very nice guy.
That's because he's always surrounded by chicks and stuff like that.
Yeah, sure. For sure. All right. So I was thinking about giving you two a quiz about the Cars. What do you think?
Yeah.
Sure.
About the actual band?
Yeah, the band The Cars.
This is going to be very embarrassing.
All right.
Okay, but these are just basic questions that
Okay.
99% casual fans, well, I won't say casual, but I'll say 99% of fans can answer.
All right, this is good stuff.
So
This is exciting. I love trivia.
It's
I
not
love
hard.
this kind of stuff, and it'll be exciting because people will judge us, which
Wait.
I like.
Let me
Yeah.
get my Google. Hold on a second.
No cheating.
Yeah, well, it'll be funny because if you don't know some of them, then people say, "What are these guys doing making a movie
Exactly.
about cars?"
No, we're
They
ready
should-
to
they
take
should
that.
probably have already been saying that from the beginning.
I was just playing Tonight She Comes on the piano. I could play you a little.
Oh, that'd be awesome. Yeah. Okay, number one. Name the Cars albums in the order of release.
I can do that. I can do that easily.
Okay.
Bonus points if you can name the years.
Okay. 77,
77.
The Cars.
Yeah.
You're wrong already.
78.
78, yeah.
Okay. 79 is Candy O.
Yeah.
Okay. 80 is Panorama.
Right.
81 is Shake It Up.
And door to door.
84 is Heartbeat City.
Yes.
And 88 is Door to Door.
Close, 87. They broke up in 88.
Well, you just missed Heartbeat City.
Right.
That's very
Sorry.
good, Dave
That
Juskow.
was pretty close.
Do we-
Well, I just got the years wrong, but I got all the albums in order correct.
All right. Memo, I saw you
I
trying
think I
to
could
chime
do
in.
Rick's solo albums, too.
I will
Yeah.
heartily admit, first of all, even though I'm not young anymore, I'm younger than you guys.
Yes.
So I just missed, like, by the time I was a teenager, they were basically on their way out. Like, I loved their music videos, when like Heartbeat City and whatever. But that was like my intro. I had to go back later as I got older and like start appreciating their music more. But it definitely, I just missed it by this much. And so I was never like, the Cars weren't like my jam.
All right, wait. Let me ask you this, though. Beatitude or Beatitude, was that 1982?
Yes.
Nice. And wait, what? Oh, crap! What's his other solo? album?
Fireball Zone.
No, not that one. The other one with Emotion.
Yeah, that's
That
this
came
side of Paris. This side of Paris.
86.
Yes.
And Ben Orr's album with Stay the Night. No, that's not Stay the Night.
Yes.
Oh, it is.
You're right.
Is that also 86?
Yes, sir.
What about Elliot Easton, Heart Like a Wheel, 85?
Man, you are good, Dave Juskow.
What's up,
He's good.
What's up?
He's good.
What about Greg Hawkes? Greg Hawkes
Oh,
solo.
I didn't even know it. Didn't he only have an album of ukulele songs?
No. In 83, he put out Niagara Falls, which is all just keyboard.
I don't
synth.
think so.
Yeah, I totally think so. And he never released it on CD. Never got released on CD.
Well, then you can see why I would be confused.
Yeah.
You're very kind in indulging us to give you trivia questions about the cars. That's
Yeah. Okay,
Well,
so here's the next one.
I'm doing good so far.
I think you ought to be able to get this one too. Which albums did Roy Thomas Baker produce?
The first one and the second one.
Yeah.
I think that's it.
Well, who did
Two more.
Who did Candy?
Two more?
Yeah, he did Candy.
I said the first one and the second one.
Oh, okay.
All right, so he didn't do Panorama for sure.
He did do Panorama.
Damn it.
Which is
But he did Shake It Up.
Shake It Up.
Oh, he did 4. I
Yeah,
didn't
yeah.
realize.
Which is why it's so strange that Panorama. Joshua mentions in the movie, which I think could have been mixed a little better. That's always been a thing, and I hated that album when it first came out because it was just so muddled.
Yeah. But you have
And
an appreciation for it later.
Yeah, well, I have appreciation for it later through Donna. Donna, it's her favorite album. But when they put out the remaster of it and really cleaned it up and brightened it up, that's when I really took it. So now it's pretty much my favorite album now.
Yeah, I have a good friend of mine in Boston. It's his favorite album as well. Which I was like, really? And then I went back and heard it, and I was like, oh, there's some good stuff on here. So.
Yeah, that's the one. That's would give me some slackness on that one, and I like go a lot.
Yeah, the band that was playing Moving in Stereo, I'll give them a plug, out of Cleveland. They came to Boston for that Boston event, and they play some of those deep cuts that your normal cover bands wouldn't play. And Give Me Some Slack was one that they played. Yeah, they do very well. Which by the way, people always talk about cover. Who's the best cover band and so forth. You see those cover Cars tribute bands, and they've got the crazy. Well, they look like you guys in the movie, all right?
Yeah.
They got the bad wigs.
Yeah, I was gonna say we got the Long Island band.
Yeah, they accentuate the voice, the Rick Kukasik voice, when they sing, and it's like, come on, just do your best, be a musician, and that's why the Moving in Stereo, I think, is the best.
You had them at your Boston. Oh, you just said that.
Yeah, they were in Cleveland and in Boston. They're just incredible.
That's good.
All right. Oh, who was the guy who played RTB in the movie?
Oh, his name is Feldman. Adam Feldman. Feldman, I think. And Felber. Adam Felber. He's a writer for the Bill Maher HBO show.
Wow, he's good.
He was great.
He was good.
Yeah, he wasn't like a comedian. I don't know I guess he was just a writer. We knew because I knew his sister used to work at Comedy Central. She used to run a show down at this place called the Triple Inn, and I met him through that, and he was really, really good. He did a great job.
And he has some of the best lines, I think, in the movie, and also lines that none of us really understand. The VCAs and plenty of headroom on the Trident mixer.
But that was all real, right?
We don't know what the hell those things are.
No, but what's funny is the woman that managed the studio where we shot that was watching. Remember that woman? She was, and she was like, and she's watching us do that line, and then I think we asked her like, do you know what this means? She's like, oh yeah, I completely understand what that means, and it's totally accurate. Like she got it right away.
A little butchy.
Yeah. So anybody who works in sound. In fact, yesterday I was at the studio and they were talking about the VCAs.
Oh, they were.
And I was like, oh, VC. I wouldn't have been able to know what the hell, suggest anything. But
I mean, it was in the script, because I must have read it somewhere that's what he was talking about. I mean, I took that dialogue from something he said.
Yeah. Wow. And a goat being gutted.
Yeah. Well, no, that he made up himself. That was awesome.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So excellent.
Yeah, no, that line that he says, you have to take it out the back and rape me. That was all him. He's a good writer.
Yeah. Leaving it for dead. That's what you're doing to the pitch.
We're going to do it again. No, we're not. Yes, we are.
Well, incredibly enough, Benjamin Orr was a one-take guy, so they say.
No, he was so angry all the time. Why wouldn't he? We got it. It was the Sinatra. That's what they say. Oh, we got it. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. David Robinson tells a story of him, hey, Ben, it's time to sing your part, and him, smoking and going in and putting the cigarette down and doing it, and boom, he's done. Uh,
Yeah, but that's just like Kevin Cash would.
That's true. Kevin was very much.
That was the exact same thing. He's like, we got it. Don't worry about it.
yeah. All right. So here's the biggie.
Uh-oh.
What year did Benjamin Orr pass away?
Right,
2000.
2000 it is. Yep.
Wow. Yeah, I'm not even gonna try answering these because that's good.
Yeah. Which is when the dream visitations and paranormal sightings and psychic connections all started up for some of the ladies.
Well, it was. I think there is evidence that it was connected to Y2K.
Could have been. Yeah. No, you're going to think this is a joke question. It is not. What are Rick Ocasek's last words? And it's not Rosebud.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be awesome if it was, though?
I know what it was.
I think it was.
Hello.
Hello again. Yeah.
I think it's. I went through the window.
That's from Crimes and Misdemeanors.
Right.
That's awesome. Nice.
Actually, he was
great intellect like that. He says, "I went out the window."
He was a doodler, and he had left a doodle that he had been working on, I guess, before he passed away, and it was "Keep on laughing. It is what it is what he had written on it.
That's
Wow.
weird.
Yeah, isn't that crazy?
So he must have loved our movie, but
He must have.
that's exactly what Walt Disney did. The last things he wrote on the piece of paper, you want to hear something weird? Kurt Russell's name.
What?
Exactly. And then the people came to Kurt Russell and they're like, "You know anything about this?" He's like, "Huh? I don't know anything about it. Why are you bothering me? What do you think the heck going with that guy?"
Yeah, those are good flicks that Kurt Russell is in. The Computer Wore Tennis Shoes and
Now you see, now you know. Yeah, I call it the Dexter Riley trilogy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They have those on Disney Plus if you have Disney Plus.
Oh, they do?
Do they?
Yeah.
You know what I just saw with my daughter was Condor Man, and that was,
that's the one you were telling me about.
It's so he's not in
That's on Disney Plus.
Yeah, I know it's not.
I want to see that.
But
You
that's
told me
brilliant.
that.
It's
Sounds
such a great
good.
movie. All these old '70s Disney movies I've been revisiting, they're all good.
Yeah, I have too. My wife thought I was nuts when I watched That Darn Cat.
Yeah.
Married?
Yeah.
Oh, That Darn Cat is that's one of the reasons why I got one of those black cats.
Right.
Ugly Dachshund I've watched. All the Herbie movies.
The $1 Million Duck.
Million Dollar
Don't
Duck.
forget the best one of all is Gus that stars.
Oh, the donkey?
The donkey.
Yeah, the mule that kicks in it for NFB
Yes.
NFL.
Oh, that's right.
It's
Don
brilliant.
Don Knotts.
Everybody's in it. Tom
some of
Bosley,
too.
Dick Butkus is in it.
Yeah, that's the best of the people they had in those movies,
right.
like Sandy Duncan,
Right,
whatever.
right.
Yeah, there's a treasure chest of character actors who appeared in all those movies.
But Gus had them all.
Treasure
You
trove. What
can't-
did I say? Treasure chest.
Right.
They say that you can suggest movies for them to add on there, but that they don't have The World's Greatest Athlete, which had
they
Jan
don't?
Michael Vincent and John Amos and Tim Conway.
Right.
That was incredible.
They do have the Apple Dumpling Gang.
Yeah, one,
And the
two.
Apple Dumpling Gang rides again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
So, David, let me ask you this.
Yes.
I posted about the reviews for Turbocharge on Amazon,
Ah.
and I know you talked about them. Do you find them as hilarious as I do?
Yes. Now, it took a second. I think when I first put it up, they were extremely hurtful. I know the movie's not great, but when they first came up, I was a little devastated, even though I knew it was coming.
Yeah.
I think that this thing is like we knew it's coming, and yet when you see it live and the hatred, the absolute hatred, that the extent to what they write.
The fact that somebody would take that much time out of their day to write a hate-filled rant.
Yeah, and that's I think that's the thing. But then, so my friend Lawrence was reading them to me, and I got really angry because I think he took pleasure in the fact that they were mean.
Of course he did.
Oh, what's up?
There you go.
How
Hey
exciting!
guys, did I miss anything?
It's about time. You look beautiful.
Hi.
Well,
What are you
shucks.
trying to do?
Oh, nice. Thanks for joining us.
Hi, guys.
Good.
Isn't this much more fun?
Oh, it's so fun. I missed you guys so much.
You
You
did.
got an echo going on
I
there,
know.
Donna.
I'm trying to figure it out.
Not for us. We don't have an echo. We don't hear an echo from her.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, you don't? Just
No, you guys sound clear.
Okay.
What's that light in the background? We turned ours off.
Oh, I can turn it off.
Anyway, Donna, for the
Oh,
time
yeah, that's better.
Is that better?
Yeah, thanks.
That's
for
weird.
the time that you've been gone, we've been just sitting here staring into each other's eyes.
We didn't know what to say.
Yeah.
I didn't know you wore glasses.
We
Well,
were
they're
lost without
they're
Donna.
my old lady glasses. I don't usually wear
You
glasses.
look ridiculous.
I need them to read.
He's
Oh, Juskow. You're
Now he's
so
just joking.
funny.
Oh, I just wanted to pile on.
Mm.
I was explaining to these gentlemen
Yes.
how incredibly frightening it has been to me to do this podcast without you for this 20 minutes that you've been gone, because this podcast is you. The fans love Sweet Purple June, and I'm the guy that they get pissed off at. And so, I'm going to get a lot of flack because we drove you off the podcast for 20
No,
minutes.
not we, just me. Don't you guys don't have to take responsibility for that. It was all me. I'm a major douchebag.
We made Donna shower.
Well, that's probably
Thank
a
goodness.
good thing for everybody involved. But
Yes.
but no, I'm sorry. And Dave, you did a really terrific job. I don't think
covering, yeah.
I mean, I don't want to say we didn't skip a beat, but I would like to laugh and everything, so that was missed. But Dave did a wonderful job while holding down the fort.
Well, I'm
That's-
glad.
Your any criticisms about that your fans may have, they're just going to post them on the Amazon site.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway.
That's right.
Yeah, but bags.
Hey.
What'd you call her? What'd you call her? Purple Jew? Is that what I heard? This is right.
We're in so much trouble. But anyway, we were just talking about the negative reviews, Donna, and there's just one on here in particular that just cracks me up to no end, and it's the guy who says he knew Ben Orr in the 60s.
Yeah, who the fuck is that? So that guy's got to be like 70. Of course he's angry at this movie. He's like, when I was that age, they made movies, not this kind of crap.
That's funny.
There's no no one's under any illusions about what the movie is,
Except for this one guy.
So it's like
He met Ben, or he probably went to elementary school with him like one day, and then he probably, he talked to him once. What an asshole.
I knew him in the 60s. Yeah, it's pretty vague. But hey, when we did the first episode about Turbocharge, Donna and I both said, you're either going to get it or you're not going to get it. And the
That's
We
people
don't understand why you guys get it.
Oh
We
my
can't
gosh,
figure
it's
it out.
It's
so
just
funny.
like we said, you have to accept the fact that the characters of Rico Kasich and crew are characters, and there's not to base it all on fact.
right.
You got to push all that away and just enjoy the movie for what it is.
Right.
And some people can't.
You would have thought that you two would not enjoy the movie for what it is. That's why it's unbelievable.
Well, we have a sense of humor.
He means because because you really love the band and you might have taken it as an insult or whatever.
Yeah.
Well, okay, so there's people in the Fanorama, the fan group, that are like stalwart, that the cars are under this shrine umbrella and you only approach on your knees and that sort of thing. That's not me and Dave. Dave and I see the band as a hilarious group of guys that made some kick-ass music, and we love them so much, and we have a sense of humor, so we can make fun of the guys that we love. I mean, we just can.
Right.
Because
Right.
it's hilarious. And that's one of my favorite things about the movie is how you take things that actually are fact or are that've been talked about in the fan groups, and then you put a twist on it that makes it so funny. Like when they trash the hotel room, and the band is all edgy and like, yeah, man, and so then they just very carefully dump nuts onto the table and they throw the pizza box out.
But that's a true story. though.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. It's a true story, but you made it so funny, so much funnier than it already was, that it was even true.
Well, the fact that Ben Orr is not a ladies' man in the movie whatsoever.
Yes.
And you got Greg Hawkes, who's mean as a fucking snake. And
Tough
that is
break,
so
man.
Yeah, tough.
Wait. You're saying that Ben Orr is not a ladies' man in the movie, or he's not a ladies' man in real life?
Not a ladies' man in the movie.
Yeah.
He doesn't.
He hooks up with that girl, though, right? I mean,
right, but he slept with Joshua the whole movie. Like,
yeah.
You know.
Oh, only because his mother's hot. His mom's hot.
There's a few times that people have asked, was that Joshua real? And
I know. Well, he demanded that we put that in the Penguin says that at the end. What about that Joshua?
Oh, right.
Yeah.
I'm like, who cares?
Oh, right. That was right. So yeah, Pengy says that. Yeah, we had that narration of the penguin and the snowman. That was the only time I really contributed to the to the right. Like, it was all written by Juskow, but I remember, like, there was a lot of things that he wrote, and I was like, I kind of used Pengy as the voice of my asking those questions, because I was like, wait, that doesn't quite add up.
He was thinking of you guys.
Yeah.
And I was thinking of no one.
Yeah, so, like, I remember he wrote that, the Cars invented new wave music, and I was like, if you say that, you're going to get crucified by anybody that knows anything about music. So I had Pengy then, object and start throwing other names. So it was like a balance of, like, the sort of showman snowman, and then, like, Pengy, like the voice of reason. I don't know if that's intellectualizing Pengy, but
that's pretty funny
Pengy
stuff.
Pengy who now writes for Bob's Burgers.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
Donna, the other thing that we were doing, I was doing
Which one with Donna again?
I was doing a very basic Cars trivia quiz. For this channel.
I passed on most of them, right?
He got it. Yeah, very basic, but Juskow got them. Yeah.
So I was asking what album or what order the albums came out in, what years, when did Benjamin Orr pass away, what was Rick Ocasek's what was Rick Ocasek's last words, which was Rosebud, or out the window.
I went out the window.
Right.
Well, give me some more.
Do you have any basic ones, Don?
Well, I just want to point out that I thought it was really funny when Robin Marks called in to David's podcast this last week, and she said she was
Rock Hall Robin. Yeah,
Rock Hall Robin, and she said she was at the Hall of Fame party the year the Cars got inducted, and Elliot Easton told her she was a good dancer, and David Juskow was like, I don't know who that is.
I can't help it. It's like I have Tourette's. I can't that gag for me every time. I don't know why.
Bless her heart. Yeah, Rock Hall Robin. She's got kind of a notoriety in the fandom, as if you went to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, you find Robin. She'll set you up. So there goes Donna.
Yeah, you pissed her off again.
What did you say, Dave?
Something wrong.
Yeah.
Oh, I guess she feels she didn't look good in that light.
No, I just can't see my notes.
Why does somebody in Idaho have such vanity problems? Like you said, it's unbelievable.
Seriously, it's not about. It's just. It's not because I think I need to be beautiful for you. It's not. It has nothing to do with that. Do you know that David and I?
She knows.
Oh yeah, you're not interested in how I look. Did you know that David and I have never video Skyped?
No, I didn't know that.
We have.
Oh, you're right. We haven't.
No, we have never.
Isn't that a much better way to do your podcast? Because in the sense of when you see people's expressions, it's much easier to feed off them when you're doing a show. Like you can see what's coming or what they're thinking, and
it's rolling our eyes at each other.
Yeah, well, I always figured I don't want to see Donna rolling her eyes at me when I talk.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. It's fine. It's good. I love seeing your guys' faces.
Your background, I like your background. It looks like a nice little place to podcast, Donna. And then, Dave, your place just looks too spacious. It's bothering me.
This is my classroom. This is our classroom.
But it looks. Oh yeah, let's see.
See all my Latin stuff on the wall up there, and I got a whiteboard behind us. And
I like seeing where other people live. David, is that your living room?
This is the den. This is my corner of the den.
What is your window out? What does your window look out as?
It just looks out into our front yard. That's all my wife's stuff over there. She's an accountant, and then all my stuff. I have all the Cars stuff. Let me see. Turn it this way.
Ah, yeah.
Wow.
I just got a little corner of paradise over here.
That's so nice.
Do you like the Cardinals because they have the word car in them?
Yeah, it's always weird. I've always thought that, but yeah, no, my dad was a Cardinals fan, and that's just how I was raised.
No, that's how hard on a scale of 1 to 10 will this podcast be to edit?
This will take me a while.
Yeah.
I want to try and soften up Dave Juskow on this, so I'm trying to edit.
No. I'm not going to. I'm not going to try to edit Juskow.
What kind of pen is that? What is that, from the 70s?
Yeah.
What the hell?
It's a
Nobody
big
has a
pen.
pen like that anymore. Look at that. They don't even make those pens
Oh
anymore.
my gosh. I've got it in blue. I've got it in red. My pen.
Oh, I didn't even know. Oh, you know what? Look what one I have. I'm going to get it.
Oh, you got him to leave.
So
That's good.
exciting.
Okay, now that he stepped away, let's talk.
Yeah, what do you really want to know? I figured you guys would have all these questions that you never got a straight answer from that you would want to
I have a
finally
whole-
find out.
I have a whole list of stuff, but I don't see.
Yeah,
I don't know what you.
Banana pen from the 70s.
Oh, see?
Oh,
You're making
Yeah.
Nice.
Well, it doesn't work. I got it on eBay. It's out of ink. It was like a marker. It's exciting.
It is
It
very.
makes me
I have
happy keeping it in my jacket for some reason.
I have a pair of lefty scissors.
Ooh,
Oh,
very
no.
nice with the
You a
safety
lefty?
edges.
Yeah.
I'm a lefty too.
Once he picked up the scissors, we had officially run out of material.
Well, okay, so I actually do have lots of stuff, but I don't know what you guys already talked about. So.
Well, how about a few
Yeah,
ads?
so I'm sure it's something different.
Well, did you already go?
Dave said he didn't know what he was doing, so
Well, did you already talk about? Did you already go through how you started? You know, why you even came up with the idea of Turbocharge and how it was sort of this angry response to A, Live Aid and the cars getting
No, we didn't.
scooped, and B, Def Leppard and their extremely horrid rockumentary. Have you talked about any of that
we did
yet?
not talk about it. We
Okay.
did not talk about it.
So, Dave, why don't you tell us how the idea for Turbocharge even came into your
We
mind?
already talked about that. Claudia, what's up? Oh yeah, right. We've never been on the podcast. I guess the three
You
of
and
us
I
have
have-
talked about it first. Right.
Yeah.
Right. So that Def Leppard movie with Anthony Michael Hall is the one where I was like, all these movies, including Bohemian Rhapsody, all the movies about bands, the biographies, are all the same. And when you are watching even the best of movies, like an Oscar win, which I love Bohemian Rhapsody, but I'm just saying, then there's also the lesser ones like a Def Leppard. They're all the same. You're just waiting for the one part. Like, when do they come up with the song Bohemian Rhapsody? You're waiting. You're waiting for the guy to lose his arm in Def Leppard. This is it. Every time that guy's in the car, you're like, this is it. This is it. So these are all horrible movies. They're all like starting with no thing, and then they're going to go up, and somebody's going to be an asshole. And I mean, it's just like you just can't make a decent movie without it being kind of a joke.
Right.
Well, I want to point out that there are good ones, but just goes
What's
never
an
heard of
example?
them because they're all not famous Hollywood movies.
Well, those are probably the best. So what's
Oh,
an
there's
example?
like-
that Def Leppard one wasn't a fit. That was just a TV movie.
Right, but it's still like a mainstream
Did you see
movie.
the In Excess one?
No, I didn't
Have
see
you guys
it.
seen the In Excess one?
No, I haven't
Oh
seen
my!
it.
Again, what the fuck? I bet the guy. It's always the same scene. The guy goes in the car, and all of a sudden he's whistling. Hold on, wait for me. And he goes back in his house and he writes it down. And he goes back in the car. It was the stupidest thing I've ever seen in my life. But that's in every one of those movies. Oh, that's gonna become new sensation.
Did they show how Michael Hutchins dies?
Oh no, because I think it was for children. So yeah, right. He hangs himself, right?
Yeah, but you're trying to get
It's a asphyxiation, right?
the auto.
Yeah, autoerotic asphyxiation.
Right.
There was a handsome fella. Hello.
Yeah, but, there's like if you watch there's a movie about Joy Division called Control that's like exactly. So it's like you'd never see those films. So there are really
Well,
good
see,
ones,
the ones
but-
where I guess you don't know anything. Why, those are interesting if you're learning something like Joy Division. But
Right.
like I said, like something like
All the
we
generic-
all know about Queen, right?
Right.
We all know what's going to happen. We're like, when does he get AIDS? What day? Is this the guy that gives it to him?
Right.
You're waiting. It's still totally entertaining. But the Def Leppard one was so fucking stupid. And Anthony Michael Hall comes in and he goes, I want this Hysteria album to be as big as Michael Jackson's. And it's just dumb. I don't know. It's just so that, So then I'm like, we should make a movie. What's a good band? That would be kind of a joke.
No, like, I'm glad you guys watched the movie because, like, for example, I did not see Bohemian Rhapsody, and Queen is my favorite all-time.
Yeah, how could
band.
you not have seen it? That's your favorite.
Because I knew it was
band.
gonna be stupid. I was like, I don't want to. Why would I want to see it?
It was still entertaining though. The performance was amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, come now, baby. We're all gonna make an album tonight.
You know what I was disappointed about Bohemian Rhapsody was that, because of course as a Cars fan, I wanted Roy Thomas Baker's character to be awesome.
I was waiting for that too.
They didn't even mention his name. I wonder if he I think they called him Roy. I think that's all they said.
And that's the thing too with our movie. We at least showed some of the process. Where they just didn't cut. They just were like, let's show when he gets 8. He's gonna get 8. He's gonna get 8. I mean, they just concentrate on the lead character. I mean, that's all, which was the most interesting. But it's funny because it's such a bummer for the other guys. It's always the same thing.
Right.
They always sit there and go, he's losing it, man. He's losing it. It's just every band movie is the same. It's the lead guy and he's a mess, or I guess in Motley Crue it would be the drummer. I mean, there's one dude that just ruins it for everybody. And you're like, when a Van Halen was one we were thinking of, or I was thinking of, because that could be interesting too.
They would never end, like swapping lead singers.
Yeah, just keep swapping lead singers, and Eddie's clearly a mess, even though he's awesome.
Well, that would be great for you because you could totally play David Lee Roth. Is like.
Yeah, actually, that's I wrote this pilot called Ty Romeo, which was half based on David Lee Roth, like when he was on Howard Stern or something. He'd be like, Howard, like, it was based on a guy who's basically a Jewish boy who becomes this big rock star, has very good hair, and but he doesn't sing very well, but he's just really a little Jewish boy. His nephew is the guy that owns the Comedy Cellar, whose first name is Menachem.
But what's true is that Juskow is enough of like a kind of a geek that he did insert that stuff in the. You know what I mean? Like he wasn't, because Hollywood would just kind of go for like the obvious like button pushing, like what's going to make people cry or whatever. And so Juskow does love all the little like geeky like facts and so on. So like I think that.
Yeah, that's why in our movie, I mean, every band member had a thing about him, which the other movies don't do. They only concentrate on the lead singer. I mean, can you even, mention one scene with the other guys? Well, you didn't see Bohemian Rhapsody, but I'm saying like they just don't concentrate on the other guys. But I think every band, every guy we had was like a character of his own.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Which, was different than all the other movies, let alone, again, I stand by my statement. I dare anyone to make a real biography about the Cars. So, that's what you get. People who hate it. Sorry.
Well, because the thing is, unlike all these other bands, they didn't have any drama or any peak. There was no infighting. There was nobody lost an arm. Nobody. Yeah. So you had to take what their actual history was, and that's what I think is also just amazing, is that you could take a history that for the most part is relative to other bands is fairly boring and make it hilarious.
Yeah, no, I think that's the comedy,
and that's
right?
the thing. So it's like, right, so the first thing, as I told you, with Live Aid, and they get put up in that little corner because of Phil Collins. So I'm thinking about this my whole life. I'm like, what a bunch of assholes. Phil Collins sucks and Live Aid sucks, and what they did to them and how humiliating that must have been, thinking it for 20 years. And then when I started doing some research and I hear about that hotel thing, and I'm just like, oh my God, they're so stupid. It's just like all this kind of stuff kind of piled on, I guess, in a way. And I had that song in my head for so many years. I don't know why. I was like, if I ever write a song, if I could write my own car song, whatever. I had it, I don't know. It all just came kind of, I'm like, let's just do it.
Well, then you took other little elements like David Robinson dating the Candio cover model, and you blew that up into every female in the room. And there are conflicts within the band when they started recording Heartbeat City, and how that really was sort of the beginning of the end. And the scene when they're all sitting around and they're being introduced to Mutt Lange, and Greg says something about it being Zappa-esque, and they're all, "Shut up, Greg!" and they're like freaking out. "Why don't you go back to your effing Martin Mull band?" And he's like, "Why don't you go F another Candio model?" Just a whole here's all that real life tension that did actually happen in their history, but then their immature infighting in the scene itself is just so funny.
Well, it's like, I mean, I read a lot of books about them, and I did a lot of research on it, and so I knew all that stuff. And yeah, I mean, that's what bands do. I mean, I'm sure, it's like I wrote this John Adams thing, and all the facts, it's just like Turbocharge, all the facts are there, but nobody knows what the dialogue is because nobody's there in the room. So I just make the dialogue what I like to think it was,
The other. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. I'll give you a chance.
I was going to ask.
David, I told you it was better when. No, sorry. Go ahead.
Now I can't get a word in edgewise.
David got a chance to shine.
I'm trying to catch up.
Trying to catch it. Yeah. Well, thank you. H. John Benjamin and Tom Shalhoub are awesome in this movie, and it seems like I'm a Twitter guy, all right? And I'm always putting stuff on a Twitter.
This is why we need to do on video. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
It's so much fun watching Donna laugh. I can't believe you guys don't do that. We hear, when we first did the podcast, we hear her laughing so much. This is so entertaining to us. Actually, I can't believe you guys don't do this all the time.
Yeah. She doesn't do the silent laugh like.
Yeah. I can't help myself. Okay, anyway, go ahead. I'm sorry. I didn't. Just the mention of Tom Shalhoub is hilarious. Okay, go ahead.
But yeah, I'm a Twitter guy, and whenever I see Phil Collins post something, I always retweet it and put the gif of Kevin Cash doing the Collins.
Oh, is that what that is? You put that in? I don't know.
Yeah, and just to see if they'll say, "What is this? What do you know?" But H. John Benjamin, Tom Shalhoub, there's been times I've tweeted about Turbocharge, nothing, crickets. And I don't know how they feel about do they know the movie's out?
Yeah, do you guys keep in touch with these guys? Do you talk about it?
Do they remember they were even in it? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah. I mean, you've done Tom Shalhoub, Dave.
Yeah, I keep in touch with Tom. I don't really keep in touch with John Benjamin except because of my connection with Bob's Burgers. But yeah, we don't keep in touch. I mean, if we see each other, it's delightful, but we don't keep in touch. But Tom, I keep in touch with. They don't know it's out. I'm not telling them.
If they're going to do a search, I'm sure they search their name every so often and things, and it's going to pop up.
No, let's hope it doesn't. I'm sure they'll probably have to take it down.
Donna, wouldn't you agree that when we've shown the movie to a group, that the Hello Again scenes with Shalhoub is probably the most laughter?
Oh, yeah. Everybody gets that one.
Ridiculous.
I used to use him in all my projects. I have a bunch of plays and stuff that I used to use him all the time, and he was always the showstopper.
Yeah. And I'll say, so that is the one scene, most of the film was filmed very conventionally, right? We just followed the script and close up and a wide shot. But because this is supposed to be a fake documentary, or it's parodying a real documentary, that was the one scene that really came together in the editing room. There was no structure for it, and I take pride in that scene because it was really the one time. There's a couple times in the movie, but that was probably my favorite scene because it was the comedy was a lot of how you cut from one thing to another and then back, and and so it was all
we had 3 cameras that day, or 3 or 4.
Yeah, we had multiple cameras. We really shot it like a documentary. And also even though I was telling you earlier, I didn't grow up. I'm a little too young to have grown up for most of the Cars history. I was a kid then. I loved that behind the scenes that came in the video, and I used to work at a video store, and I would play that all the time, and then I'd fast forward through the boot parts because I knew it was in the video store. But I loved I would play the whole video. I play all their music videos because I love their videos, and then that would come on, and I would just watch it. And so when Juskow did this, that was the one scene that from the very beginning I knew I had it in my mind okay, this is how is this going to work and whatever, because it's just such a great.
Well, you're right about the editing. That's what it really is good. Like, sometimes I probably don't even think about it. It really was good. And like all the scenes like where you're waiting for the approval of him to say,
oh yeah.
Right. You just look at everybody's face. That's good. But we also found the perfect place to shoot too. My friends owned this place, and that's where we had that one was Social Club, right, 26th Street, and that place was great. We used that whole, we used every bit of that place. They had 3 levels, so we were able to. I knew a lot of people that owned a bunch of places, so we found some really good places to shoot. You don't even think about it.
Yeah, actually, yeah. So so the Phil Collins scene where he goes to the bathroom, that was filmed in the same place. Where Kevin goes to the bathroom and meets him. The band playing at the end when
no, that was a different place.
Oh, that was a different place?
Yeah, they had a place on 34th Street. That's where we also filmed the Shake It Up scene. And the end scene with Attell. That was all. That wasn't Social Club.
Oh, that was
a different. I don't even know the name of that place. Chetty Red was where we did the first scene, wasting all my time.
Right. Where's the scene? How about the one where they meet Irene? Where they come up with the name?
That was at the place where we did the big people thing.
In there was 2 or 3 locations that covered a lot of this film.
It was amazing. And those same people, my friends owned. I was part owner of one of those places. That was one of those things where can you just sign this?
Right.
And you can get free drinks for life. And I'm like, yeah.
Filming in New York City is not easy or cheap, normally. Everybody here is savvy. Even if you want to use a little convenience store or bodega, they will charge you a shitload of money. No one's going to be sure, come on in. It's not easy. Plus, where do you park? It's just film in New York is an expensive prospect. So the fact that we just kind of did it, the way I was used to making my films with my friends back in Massachusetts before I moved here, I don't know that I was aware of it at the time, how hard that was, but Juskow just happened to know everybody and made it all work.
Yeah, if we went through the locations, you would be every story has got a story,
right?
Because I know somebody who knows somebody. Especially the scene in the garage at Live Aid was filmed in my old office building at 360 Lexington Avenue. I asked the janitor if we could use the carport, a day, and I think I gave him $200 or something,
right.
And he was kind enough to let us use it because I knew all these guys also. The governor used to be in this building, and they have a secret downstairs compartment. I probably shouldn't have mentioned it. It's a panel that goes behind, so the owner of the building doesn't even know it's there, and they have this secret room. It's quite phenomenal. They're really good. But I know all those kind of people in all the buildings about the secret places. I always, for some reason, become friendly with the staff, which turned out to be very helpful in these cases. Except the one time when we were going to that place and it wasn't open yet, and there was a janitor there and he spoke Spanish. I didn't know if Memo spoke Spanish, and I didn't want to be rude, assuming he spoke Spanish. And he wasn't talking to the guy, and I was trying to go, un poquito español. And then finally he starts talking. I'm like, why couldn't you do that 10 minutes ago? I was watching you try and muddle through it, and I'm like, that's not helpful for anybody.
I don't know that's quite how that
That's
happened.
exactly how it happened.
Yeah, the locations are fascinating.
Yeah, but even the recording studio, which was a great recording studio where we did the Roy Thomas Baker stuff, we found through my friend Vera, and she had another friend, and she's like, yeah, I think she's going to let you use it. And then we had and then she had another office space, Vera, where we shot the You Might Think stuff with the green screen and everything.
Right.
Remember how hot it was in there and everything?
Right.
It was just friends who let us use their space for free.
Yeah.
I took them out maybe for dinner after or something, and that was about it. It was amazing.
And actually, that same day, so the guy that played Howard Stern, he was going to do it another day, and then all of a sudden, the day we were shooting, I think he texted Juskow and was like, I can do it today, or something like that, because we were going to shoot that scene that day. So again, Gabor, who's the unsung hero of this film, just found an office room and turned it into Howard's studio.
It's amazing.
In a matter of 40 minutes or something, and then we filmed it there, the whole Ben Orr scene with Howard.
Yeah, that's what it was. This guy was so unbelievable, and it's it bums me out that I,
said what you said about his wife. Yeah,
no, she's attractive.
I'm just
no, I'm just kidding. No, it bummed me out that I never amounted to anything in the sense that we could use him again because he's such a pro. We would be doing something and then we'd hear sawing, electric sawing outside. He was building that bar of soap that they're standing on at the end, and we're like, what's going on out there? It's like, oh, it's Gabor. He's designing a new wooden platform for us. I mean, it was unbelievable.
Yeah.
Wow.
And actually, I've hired Gabor for like a bunch of my short films, like the Sesame. And
that
stuff.
makes me feel better.
Yeah. No, and he's great. Like I went to college with him, so we're old friends.
All he asked was to take him up to the Upper East Side where they had a Polish diner,
a Hungarian
deli where you could buy Hungarian meats.
Is he the one that provided the Hungarian book for Pengy to read?
Yes, that was in his house. And I was like looking through his junk, and I was like, "Oh, this is, it was perfect." It was like, yeah, that was in his house.
Because that was another part of the movie. That was another scene that was like, what does that have to do? Like, is there a joke there that I'm missing? Just like the horse picture is like, why is Pengy reading some sort of Hungarian book? I didn't get that.
That was actually this is new news to me. I didn't know where it came from either.
Yeah, it was around his house. It's like when I was animating, I just added whatever little jokes I could think of, or I think he's like launching snowballs at the snowman scene,
out of the hairdryer. Where did the hairdryer come from? Was that one of your kids?
Well, no, I didn't have any kids. Are you kidding? If I had kids back then, this movie would never have been made. This was a project for people that didn't have any kids. Right.
And now they all have kids. Every single one of them.
It's difficult.
Including Joshua.
That's right. But yeah, no, I think it was a prop that he had lying around. He's got like a house of junk and stuff, so it was cool just going through and being like, oh, we can use this and we can use that.
Well, I swear I thought he really was Howard Stern at first, when he first came on.
I did too.
He was so good.
Yeah, he's really good. Yeah. Well, he's such an asshole. He's like, I mean, I've known him for years. But he puts on the wig. He's like, watch the transformation, people. And didn't say that it's a dick move, but goddamn,
he was good. Yeah.
He was good.
Yeah, he owned it for sure. He had
I'd
the
probably
right to
say
say
that
it.
too, I guess. As soon as he puts on the wig, he just was Howard Stern. And he was good.
And then just to add to that, so then Robin, you know how we cut to Robin laughing all the time? So that was the same day we shot Howard Stern. At night we're cleaning up, and we were being like, oh, it's too bad we couldn't find like Robin or whatever. And then as we're cleaning up, like the cleaning lady walks in who's African American, and she's like just starts like cleaning up the studio, and we're like,
no, you said to me, you're like, I'm always afraid to, but I mean, certainly we thought of it, but I didn't even think of it. You were like, I was surprised you thought of it, and he's like, we could maybe ask her. I was like, she was nothing but delightful.
She was totally into it.
We got lucky.
And again, Gabor instantly created like her sound booth.
Yeah.
And
we gave her $100.
And she just laughed, we just need you to like react.
I think she's the only person that got paid.
$100 to laugh.
Yeah. Well, watching that scene with her and Howard Stern is what made me realize that I was Dave's Robin Quivers, because he just tells all these jokes, and he's all rough around the edges, and I just go, oh, Dave, oh, you.
There you go. Right. Guys, tell Donna and I have the long-standing history with the guy we call Big Salad, which is Elliot Easton's brother.
Yes.
And
what a fun guy.
The first time I talked to you on the phone, Dave, is when you brought up about him leaving the screening. Is there anything where you can tell us about that? Yeah, in a huff.
He walked right by me, stepped on my toe.
But you guys, the pre-story of that, and you guys probably know these people, were the group of like fans who were on this Frozen Fire listserv.
I think Mary Beth Cronin was there, Dave.
Yes.
Mary Beth Cronin. That's
right.
Right.
Uh-huh. And they somehow did. I don't know if they.
No, we don't even know how they found out about the screening. It's a private screening at HBO.
Yeah, they either emailed me or Juskow. I can't remember.
Definitely not me.
I think they emailed me. And we're like, we heard there's a screening happening, which I don't even know. Like we said, it wasn't like a public event. And they asked, and I was like, oh my God, somebody wants to come see this movie. Like, sure, And they came, like a group of them. They were super cool. And
everybody was cool except that dude.
Well, right. And so they brought him along, and we're like, sure, bring whoever, It's like, it was just like Juskow just got the room. It was like a really nice theater, and it's big. So we're like, yeah, anyone that wants to fill those seats, please, come on in.
And that guy, I mean, he stayed for the whole movie, and I think once the end where Elliot Easton becomes a stand-up comic, that's where he left.
That's what pushed him
over the edge. The ending, the very ending. Stormed out. We're like, what the fuck is the matter with that guy? Yeah, I remember because who the hell is this guy?
Right.
And then we found out later who it was. We're like, oh, that makes sense.
That makes a lot of sense. Yeah, they kind of go.
He's told me through the years that he's not a fun guy.
No, he's not a fun guy at all. Not at all.
Well, clearly he didn't get it. Yeah. Meanwhile, my mother said the same thing. So this is what. What is this? I don't know what this is.
This is how you spend your time.
Yeah.
Plus, my friend, who's the lead guitarist for Joan Jett, was there. Where I saw him recently, and because now he knows it's released, he's like, "What?" Because he's like, "That movie's horrible." But now he actually likes it. He finds it funny again.
But it was kind of the same thing though, because I invited a bunch of friends who didn't know Juskow and didn't particularly know the Cars other than like whatever their hits were. They didn't have like a predisposition to wanting to care about the story. But they had a great time. Like they walked out being like, "That was hilarious." They had, and I think part of it was when you watch it in a crowd, it definitely is that kind of a movie, than watching it at home alone.
Yeah, and I told you the one time which was amazing in L.A., and I think I told you guys this. I was bringing the movie out because Jimmy Kimmel wanted to see it, and my friend Sarah Silverman was dating him at the time. She goes, "Jimmy really wants to see the movie. Can you set up a screening here?" And I'm like, "Absolutely." So I flew out to California because, that sounds like a pretty good opportunity. And we set it up, but it was late. And in LA, anything late, like it started because he had to tape a show. So the screening started at 9, which out in Los Angeles is a disaster. And so it was already kind of doomed in that sense. But as soon as the plane landed, she texted me and said, "We broke up." And then it was even worse. So I got it at this place because the screening had to go on. People were already invited. And I had it at this place where they started playing DJ music at 9 o'clock, but they had this little back room, but unfortunately only covered with curtains.
Oh, my.
It was very difficult, but the screening room was beautiful and everybody was there. And, it was going on. But I guess people were invested, or maybe this is an LA thing, because when the Live Aid thing came in and they cut it to the square, people applauded. They understood that the movie led to that point. So then I realized they were invested in the movie and they got it.
Right.
And that made me feel pretty good. Then I got really messed up that night.
Donna, you and I, we kind of went through the regrets when we went to Boston because we talked to David Robinson in person, had a chance to show him some of the movie, missed out, and then I sat next to Diane Gray Page at the event, and I could have showed her, "Hey, this is you. This is you. This is you and your boy Joshua. Remember Joshua?"
The other regret we had, Dave, was that so whenever Dave and I watched it in Cleveland or in Boston, we had a group. We showed it to other fans. But we so wish that we could have just watched it at least once, just the two of us by ourselves, because when we would be watching it in a group and these scenes would come up, that we would just, all the little nuances we got and understood and thought were so hilarious, and we would be looking at each other like, this is so funny. But we couldn't totally geek out because, you're in the thing with the whole group. And so we did miss that opportunity to just go full geek mode while we were watching it.
Memo and I are still in awe of the fact that you guys like the movie. I can't even handle it.
I wish we could have watched it with you guys. I so wish you guys could have come to Boston and that the four of us could have watched it together.
Well,
oh my gosh.
I guess we thought there was going to be a screening, so that's why
Yeah.
But obviously, we would if that ever. I mean, I'm totally up for. I grew up in that area. I mean, I'm happy to anytime.
Donna's made it very clear she's not coming back.
No, I totally want to go back.
Yeah, that whole screening.
This is it. This is the one opportunity you have to see me. This is it.
The difference between Boston and Cleveland. Cleveland was, I said, "Hey, I got all these people coming in, and hey, is there a room you can kind of let us have for a couple hours?" "Oh, sure, blah, yeah, come on in." Boston, They wanted to charge us what? It was
$1,000.
$1,500.
Yeah, cha-ching.
It's the Puritan thing. They're just jerks.
Yeah.
It was so frustrating. Yeah,
Like, okay.
that was really frustrating. So we ended up just watching it in my hotel room, I think, with a group of people, and it was super short notice. And what?
Oh, nothing. Sorry.
He's just.
I can see you, right?
Making fun that you were watching it in your hotel room. Yeah.
It's eternally 1983 with this guy.
Yeah.
I don't have time for the Me Too movement.
Oh my gosh, when you said the wasting all my time, the coffee house scene, and the guys.
Wasting all my time!
And that horrible bald mask and all that.
The Wild West of the sound. It took us a long time to find that sound effect.
Yeah, it was difficult to film that and get it right.
Oh my
So
gosh.
stupid.
I could never watch that scene just once. I always have to restart it and watch it through a second time because it makes me laugh so much. Because Juskow, your face when you are doing Rick and you're just like waiting for the time when you come into clap. And he's like, did I do it right? Like you just have this like total duh. And Ben Orr is just like, okay, this is my partner.
The other thing that makes it for me is how bad the clothes are, how bad the wigs are.
The wigs are awesomely awful.
Please tell me that the gentleman playing Mutt Lang, that was a wig. It scares me if that was his real hair.
Right?
I think it was.
Did you give him a wig?
Yeah.
It was a Jerry curl looking thing.
Yeah.
You know what? I always forget. I was thinking the same thing, actually. I'm pretty sure it was a wig, but
I don't know him, so I don't remember it. I
think
mean,
it
I think
was.
it was a wig too, but I don't know.
Because when I watched it last night, I looked and you could see sort of like the plasticky hairs hanging off the end,
it's a perfect wig. He looked great in it. I mean, right?
Awesome.
Yeah.
I think we gave everyone a wig. Everybody wanted to wear a wig. It's exciting.
They also requested masks and prosthetic.
There's little things with props and clothes that are in there that people may not catch. Like Dave Robinson wearing the Def Leppard shirt when he meets Mutt Lang, and
that was all from our costume coordinator.
Yeah.
No, he went to a thrift shop and found all this stuff.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
That was Greg Hawkes.
Yeah, Greg Hawkes.
The guy that played Greg Hawkes. He did all the costumes.
Oh, the Queen shirt just tacked up into Holtzman's office, like he wouldn't have it framed. Not just tacks the
That was my that was my Queen shirt, and that's the same shirt that I think Roy Thomas Baker's wearing.
Oh, it is,
right? I think right, and it's like I'm like a small guy, and so he is a big guy, so he had to squeeze into that. It took him like 20 minutes to squeeze into that T-shirt.
We had to squeeze into a lot of stuff. I know I did. It was
well, the best part is that when you're in that tracksuit during the choreography.
That was the most comfortable I've ever felt in that movie.
Right. That was another of my favorite scenes because that was all like the editing, the dancing, and the choreography, like that with the Frank Stallone song, like that.
Yeah.
That was great. I had a great time editing that part. It was really fun.
Hilarious, so hilarious. And just the gal that was the dance teacher, and she was so stereotypical in like, okay, if you fall over, that's okay. You're in a safe space. It's okay.
She's one of the best actresses I know, and I used her a lot, or I used to use her a lot for lots of stuff. And we did Grease together down at the Comedy Cellar. She played Sandy and everything. And then she hasn't talked to me since because I yelled at her the way I yelled at Donna before.
Yeah.
So.
Donna, you're now in like an illustrious list of women who.
And the reason I yelled at her,
I'm
I
not
was
sure
just
how
like,
short that list might be. I'm not convinced it's super short.
Shouldn't she get a plaque for that?
She was being an actress. I mean, it's like, when I do those things at the Comedy Cellar, people meet at 5 o'clock, we perform it at 8, and she was being an actress. And she's like, and I'm like, you got to speed it up. And she was getting angry that I kept saying, come on, speed it up. And she's like, I will get it right. I just need some time. We don't have time. And I it's like I have to tell people, I'm like, if I'm curt with you, it is because time is of the essence. Like I know it's a dick move. Some people don't like working with people like that, but it's like we do one take and then we perform it live. So I don't have time for acting stuff, with their acting. I'll get it right soon. Maybe the first take, and I'm like, first take, it's live. So yeah, Marina got mad at me too because I was yelling at her because I'm like, come on, pick up the pace. It's a dick move, but I gotta get it going, otherwise the whole thing doesn't work.
Yeah, Juskow's part of the Hitchcock school.
Well, I try to be nice, but it's like there's certain times you just have to, unfortunately, just motivate people, and either they listen or they get angry. So what are you going to do? I mean, it's like it's the live stuff. It's my name's like, oh, did you see Juskow's thing? Right. So I'm going to look like an asshole if they don't pick it up. Whatever.
we get.
Anyway, you're welcome, Donna, that you feel my wrath.
Yes. It'll take me some time to get over that.
Welcome to the club. Welcome to the club. You can talk to my mother and sister.
Yeah. Definitely felt
actually, there is a support line if I can give you the number.
Yeah, I mean, seriously, you can talk to Rachel, Irene. Rachel and Irene had that intervention with me the other day, so please do not take this personally at all.
There are women in this very building that have been avoiding it.
That's true. I end up making up with everybody eventually, but
I know you do. I know you do.
I try not to be. But.
Let's talk about Kevin Cash for a minute, because I love Kevin Cash so much. And just last night I watched, he was in a movie that David Curry sent me called Parting Words. Did you watch that, David Curry?
I haven't watched it yet. No, it's on Vivo, right?
Burns movie or
is it what?
He was friends with Ed Burns. If it was an Ed Burns movie, he was in a lot of Ed Burns movies.
Yeah, I don't know that, but the other guy that was in it was Joe Narcisco. Is that how you pronounce his name?
Oh.
Who was in Turbocharge?
Oh, that's right. He was. That's right. I think he
was Jeff Stein, right? Or
what is it called? Like Alzheimer's? No, he has some sort of disease. ALS. Joe Narciso, if he's still alive.
Narciso. Oh, that's a shame.
Oh, I don't know. I pronounce every name wrong, so I don't know if that's the way it's pronounced.
That's a shame. Because he was Jeff
But
Stein,
they were
right?
best friends. They were best friends. So I found Joe through Kevin. So maybe that was Joe's movie that he made. Was it a short film or was it a?
No, it was a full-length movie. It's called Parting Words, and it was about a group of friends, 3 guys and a girl that I guess grew up together. But then the 3 guys were married, and Joe was getting married to his bride at the beginning of the movie. And the girl, Laura, that they grew up with, apparently had some sort of fatal disease. And at Joe's wedding, that wasn't his name in the movie, but at Joe's wedding, she announces during the toast that she wants to sleep with all 3 of the guys, which of course ruins the wedding and throws all of their relationships into this horrible, wood chipper. And so that's the basic premise of the movie, and it was really quite good. It was a little bit dark, but it was really, really good. I just watched it last night, and Kevin Cash was amazing. He was one of the 3 friends, the 3 guy friends, and
is he when she announces that in the wedding? Is he drinking a glass of water and does he do a spit take?
I wish. I wish he was.
I saw. Kevin and I became friends because I was working at this club called Catch a Rising Star, and I was auditioning people for this show that I used to do called The Loft, which was my apartment, and everybody would come by and we'd perform it once a week. And he was in this sketch group with this girl that he was dating, and she, it was horrible, but it was very clear he was really funny and, just my kind of humor. And then, I don't know, we just hit it off that day, and then we talked about that we liked The Odd Couple, and we're like, hey, we should do The Odd Couple, because we were talking about acting and how we like acting because he wasn't a comedian, and how we, in the old Odd Couple play with Walter Matthau and Jack Lemmon, I believe sometimes to keep it fresh, they would switch roles, and sometimes Jack Lemmon would play Oscar, and Walter Matthau would play Felix, because they were really good actors, so they could do it. So we said, well, we should do that. So we did the TV version of The Odd Couple live, and switched roles, and then we just became friendly after that for so long. And I used him in everything because he was funny, but he was a little difficult to work with sometimes. He was a bit of a prima donna, but it's a fact that he was funny, and we became very, very close. I was at his wedding and his mom's funeral and stuff like that. We were very, very close. We'd go to his house for Christmas. I really liked him a lot. I mean, he's still alive, but he doesn't act anymore. he became a guard at Rikers Island, which is the funniest thing. And he also got beaten up by the other inmates because he is annoying.
Right, that's a prison.
He's annoying.
Oh, it's a prison. It's the toughest prison in the world, or the country. The worst place you ever want to go to prison.
Yeah, it's in horrible shape. There's a lot of controversy. In fact, they're probably going to close it, which means he's going to
be out of a job, I guess. But yeah, but he's he's a tough guy and he's cool and I think he's hilarious. We all think he's hilarious, but but he likes the same stuff I do, which is the sitcom based, anything gag, which other people don't seem to care for sometimes.
His Ben Orr pout.
But he was handsome. The girls really liked him a lot. You know?
What were you saying, Memo? I'm sorry.
Oh, no, he was a pain. Like, he was, everybody was pretty cool, and he was fine, but he was one of the more difficult people. You just had to, like...
He would always say, as long as I have a nice coffee, I'm fine. I'm like, I'm not, there's no money in this. I'm doing the best I can.
I'm not going to go get
but I
you
put
a coffee.
All my plays and everything, I always had a part for him.
Yeah. Well, I loved I thought he did Ben so well, and his exaggerated... Well, I should say, he did your Ben so well.
Right, he was good at taking direction, too, in that sense. Yeah.
You meant Ben doesn't actually have an accent from Long Island or Queens or whatever?
The way when we told him to purse his lips and stuff. And just
the pout.
Stuff.
Right.
He was really good at it. Like, remember that time when he was sitting listening to Roy Thomas Baker, and he's sitting in that way with his legs are out like a girl would sit or something. It was so funny. He just didn't care, so it was cool.
Him and Joshua were like the best duo. Like, that worked really well. Like, the way Ray annoyed the shit out of him, and that was pretty brilliant. They were really good at that. The
way they played off of each other.
Yeah.
I love when he encounters Phil Collins in the bathroom, and he's just like, "Oh my gosh, you're the best," whatever. And he's like trying to take notes about how to oust, and he's like, and then after Phil Collins leaves, and then he gets his super exaggerated pout. That's his best pout ever because he's just all like really ruminating on what Phil Collins said.
Yeah, he seemed to totally get that part. That's what we were gonna do. Like, every time something is, the end or the beginning, just be brooding. Like, you ooze sexuality. That was the
you ooze sexuality.
Well, that's what we told him.
Well, then he'd get it.
That was Ben Orr's character in our film.
Yes. And then he would get his dander up, and he would have that Mike Wazowski sort of voice where he's all, how do you expect us to play our instruments and sing at the same time or whatever he said, just all of his lines.
Well, that was so easy because we always had a scene where he would break down. I mean, in everything we ever did, so it was fun. But again, like I said, everybody had a character. He was the ladies' man. I was the weirdo. Greg Hawkes was the nerd. David Robinson was, just the coolest guy, and Elliot Easton was a fool. So I don't know.
Womanizer.
Yeah, David was the womanizer. Yeah, and Elliot Easton was like super intellectual. I love when they're at the end and they're being interviewed by before the Live Aid thing.
Oh, right.
Brian Gumbel. Yeah, Brian Gumbel.
Yeah, Brian Gumbel.
And they asked Greg.
Kevin Brennan. When they were being
no, she means right before Live Aid is Brian Gumbel.
When they're sitting with the sack.
Oh, right. Sorry.
The morning show.
Right.
Yeah, which my daughter thought the sack was one of the funniest things she'd ever seen when they've got the shirts on and they spell the sack. But anyway, Greg says something again about Zappa, much to the band's chagrin. And Brian asks Elliot, "Would you agree, Elliot?" And he's like, "Well, I don't know if I'd use the word chagrin." Which is
right.
So hilarious. You made Elliot so funny in his standoffish, intellectual, continually tuning some stringed instrument.
Right. That's what I was saying. He was always going to be tuning something, right? Because he couldn't play, so we're just like, you always be tuning. Yeah. You always are tuning.
He's got a girl laying in his lap, and he's just like 45 minutes to an hour.
To an hour, right. Play me a love song. Well, it took 45 minutes to an hour to tune. Yeah. Good. I think that girl was like 17.
I did not know this.
Well,
my gosh.
This whole Turbocharge experience, it's turned out to be a good thing. It's a good thing for the fandom. It's a part of it now, and it's just as much of a part of it as the Ben Orr book and any other albums that have come out, since they broke up and so forth. It's I'm glad that we went through this process and had it so people could see it.
Yeah, because you're not a part of the reviews.
Well, we do feel
I'm
somewhat
still telling
responsible.
But yeah, I mean, this is one of those things that the people who have been in this fandom, starting with that Frozen Fire email list,
Right.
that, have heard about this movie and wanted to see it. What happened to Turbocharge? And is this movie ever going to be released, and so forth and so on? And now they finally, gotten to see it. And, a lot of people get this movie and don't judge that on the fact of how many positive reviews, because notoriously people in the Cars fandom, they don't do a whole lot. They just, they're not going to, if you say, come on, man, if you like the movie, go make a positive review.
Yeah, they're like
not gonna
70.
Yeah.
Well,
You get that. No, it's really, I mean, I like was behind the scenes for years on working on this thing. So like, it's kind of, it is really, really cool. I mean, I appreciate that you guys have done what you've done.
I do too. I really do, because I mean, for years, like, when are you going to put it out? When are you going to put it out? And like, putting it out on, really for everything to change in the sense of, streaming made it easier. But we never would, if it wasn't for you guys, there's no way we would have put it out. And at least, I mean, it does make us both happy because, we put time into it and it just went nowhere, and so it was sad. So, even if it's just the two of you that enjoy it, it's actually kind of great.
Well, we promise. There's more than just the two of us. We promise.
Yeah, I think we've got a good clique going of people who really like.
I'm going to make fun of you forever that you two have ruined my life.
Ruined your life. Yeah.
I really love it. It's really great. And you two are so nice, and I'll feel bad about what I did to Donna for a long time. But you guys are so great, and you've been such good friends. Which is why I think I treated Donna that way, because now she's in.
That's
she's
true.
In,
you're now an intimate, which means you can get shat on.
Yeah, but no, you guys are so sweet and so nice. I really do consider you good friends at this point. I think that's why we text, and I mean, I don't give a lot of people my phone number. Like, I mean, I feel safe with you guys. I like you guys a lot. I think we could all hang out. I mean, you guys are so nice. And it's been nice to know you. I mean, I know we're not going to know each other anymore, but I'm saying it. You're just nice people, obviously.
And for the other 7 people that saw this, can you please let them know that we appreciate,
Yeah.
Well, we appreciate.
Yeah.
Yeah, we both appreciate you guys. We appreciate your dedication to pushing us into putting it out, and just, I don't know.
But it's cool. It's cool to hear, like you get the jokes, and because I mean, when you're making, even if it's a bad movie, it still takes forever. In fact, I just watched The Room last night with some friends. You got, The Room?
Yeah, I haven't seen it yet, but I want to.
It's a terrible movie, and like, I mean, it is god awful. They made a disaster artist, So like, but like, I'm watching it and I'm going like, that still took a lot of work. Like it wasn't like, there was still a lot of craft involved in putting that together. Even those cheesy montages when they're making love and it's all these, like, that's still a hard thing to put together. Even what he did took skill in a weird way. So like,
yeah, I mean, if you break down our movie in a sense, and first of all, making it, technically, quote, feature length is hilarious in itself. Because everybody's like, why didn't you make it a short? I'm like, no, that's part of the gag, that it continues. It never ends. But if you think about all the time, like even just the montage and stuff we put together, where the hairdressers,
yes,
they're pointing at the one phone booth left in New York City,
right,
and stuff like that. I mean, that took so much time.
Yeah,
going out all those locations. I keep thinking, if we went through the movie, we should just do a podcast on where we found those locations and who were the people that I knew that let us in. Like, even the hairdresser, that was my hairdresser and her mother that let us in there, to use the hairdressers, the old-fashioned dryers and everything. And
yeah,
but it is really time consuming to think about it.
The one shot where he's like a used car dealer.
Right.
That's like a parking garage in Queens, and he just happened to have those little flags. So all those cars are just parked cars in like a parking lot, and the flags make it seem like it was a used car. I mean, stupid things like that. That like. Yeah,
and then a couple of guys, they let us use the comedy clubs. The owner of the clubs let us use the comedy club, in the afternoon on a Saturday and stuff. It was. I mean, it definitely took a lot of time, even though it was as bad. I mean, we didn't know what to expect technically, but I mean, we knew it was going to be stupid.
Well, plus all the people that like the crew, which was mostly my friends, like, you know, some of them would drive down, like,
They'd
before I
come
lived in
from
Massachusetts.
Boston and Washington, D.C.,
Right.
and we'd meet in the middle every weekend and just got paid in food and lodging at Memo's house because I wouldn't let anybody.
Pretty much. I mean, it was totally a
That's
labor
the
of
kind
love.
of douchebag I am.
Well,
Sure,
let's give a shout out because one of the people who's in the film, who you can see only like his burgundy shirt and sometimes like a little corner of his face, is Eric Green. He was one of the Attell camera dudes, remember?
Right.
Oh,
right.
Was? Oh, yeah.
He
I
was
love Eric
twice
Green.
in the movie. He was a camera dude for Attell, and he was one of the reporters
Okay.
in that quick
Oh,
scene
was he?
when they open the doors and the press is there, and then they
Yes.
close it. So he was in there too. Yeah.
I love him.
Yeah.
I got to meet him in Boston. And hang out.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, we went out and had Joe Millick and I went out and had drinks with him and talked to him for a couple hours. He's so great.
Yeah, he made
He's
that.
all right.
He made that documentary about VH1.
No,
which you
V66.
guys obviously. Oh, V66. Yes, which, you know, for us growing up in Massachusetts, we didn't have cable. Kind of like your situation, Donna. And so, like, so you know, we didn't have MTV or anything. V66 was like our one pipeline to, you know, and they focused on like local bands. So like Extreme, The Cars, Till Tuesday, they would come on, and it was like super exciting to see like a local thing with like big names that were like, and you're like, oh my God, and watching their music videos and so like, yeah, VH1 is a godsend for us. So like, it's a very interesting like documentary.
Yeah, but let's also not forget that he tried to double charge us for the closed captioning.
Did he do the closed captioning?
No, he didn't.
He tried to double charge us, so we had to go somewhere
Oh,
else.
I see.
He works for like a real professional company, so their rates were higher than we could afford.
I see.
Yeah,
He was trying to sell us some nonsense. He goes, "Do you also need them in Hebrew? Because that'll be
For the
$100,000."
Jewish contingent that wants to watch.
Meanwhile, I haven't watched the movie with the closed caption yet. That ought to be exciting.
Oh, have you by any chance?
Yeah,
Right?
I did.
Did
You did?
Yeah.
How was
is
it?
It's pretty hilarious. I like it. There's a couple parts where it just doesn't work, wrong words or something in there, but yeah, I like it. Dave, you started up your DaveJuskow.com, and I went there this morning, and I know you got a link to the movie on there.
Yeah.
You had said on your podcast that you were talking about putting some of your other things that you've done before, like Grease and
Yeah, I just have to edit them. Yeah, they're on video, I think, too. So, yeah, I want to put that up there, too. Like The Godfather stuff I did at the Comedy Cellar. I thought that would be a good idea.
Are you going to do Crusaders of Science?
Oh, yeah, maybe. Yeah, I don't know.
That's how I met this guy.
We're currently working on the Turbocharge extended director's cut.
There should be one.
Deleted
But
scene.
we do have other footage.
There is the hospital scene.
The classic hospital scene. And the slow walk burn in Williamsburg, Brooklyn, which is amazing. I wish we could find that.
Yeah, there's other scenes. I mean, that's the big one was like the opening. Oh yeah, the open was different because he's like, it opens. It's supposed to open with him watching his like Weezer-like band, and he's like producing them. And there's a whole scene where like the Rivers Cuomo guy comes and they have a conversation.
No, that's the end. We have the conversation where he's like, so did you? Because right, it's like they use moving in stereo in Fast Times at Ridgemont High. Did you ever get to meet Phoebe Cates? I'm like, yeah, she was okay. Yeah, we have that scene.
So we filmed like this. It was like sort of the bookend.
I think we had to cut it out because he was such a horrible actor.
Well,
Wasn't
also
that-
it just didn't make sense. Like it was just
Was that a thing?
It was just confusing.
And the girl we had doing the music, we asked her to do the 80s music, but it was uncomfortable.
It made it dark and creepy.
It made it more like the Terminator.
It was more John Carpenter than than the Cars.
I don't think she understood our plan. She
No,
was
but
very
also
nice.
just like narrative. That's when we had. That's the whole thing I was telling you about, like bringing in the snowman and all that. Like we just
And
needed
that's
a
what Memo,
different.
Memo just said this stinks.
Well, my friend said that.
But you were right. I mean, you were all right. I didn't understand. I don't understand. That's the way I write. I got to write in order. It's very difficult for me to be one of those guys that starts from the ending and then flashes back.
Right.
I can't do it.
Well, I mean, just as a comic, right? So, like, if you read the script, or if you take out the snowman stuff, which is how the script was written, basically, it's like it's just a series of like SNL sketches, really.
Yeah, right.
It's just like here's a funny gag, and here's a funny gag, and here's a funny gag, and
let alone it's not in any kind of proper script form either. When I perform,
oh, no,
I was like,
I didn't care about
this
that.
is scene J. And he's like, why are you writing in letters? And I'm like, I don't know how it's done.
But that was fine. It was just more. It didn't have any structure, and so it's like it was just a bunch of funny scenes with funny gags.
Yeah, it doesn't say. And now Kevin Cash raises his hand and says, "L'chaim."
Memo, it sounds like you've been on Dave's podcast like the last 2 or 3 episodes.
Oh, like
we're doing one today in 20 minutes.
Yeah. So you are you going to have more of a presence on the Nightfly?
I always want him to be I would like him to co-host all the time, but he's just busy.
Yeah, it's
So he
just
just
hard for
doesn't
me
have
to
time.
come over.
Yeah.
He's my favorite guest.
I
Yeah,
mean,
you guys work well with each other.
I mean, I love having him on the show. I mean, I like him. He's fun to talk to. He's knowledgeable. He's also good at being like, don't say stuff like that. People don't like the N-word anymore.
The N-word.
But yeah, no, he's so good, and people like him on the podcast, and he's knowledgeable, and people respect that. But he's very, very, very busy. You know, he's got the kid, and he's working. You know, he's an editor and also a director. So editing is the most time-consuming thing there is because you will work overnights, you know, to do stuff. It's tedious.
Plus, what happens is, you know, like my day job, even though it's a cool job, it's at Sesame Street, and it's a fun, great job. It still like takes up the majority of your week. Like if I could not have to work, and it's the stupidest thing you'll hear me say, but like if I could somehow not work and just do all the cool stuff, you know, like everything would be great. But like plus being a dad and all the other stuff.
Yeah,
so
plus
like,
he also works on like a bunch of other people's stuff and his own stuff. So that's
well, I know I've had to say no to that. Like, yeah, I mean, I
stuff,
can't. I've had to, you know.
But it's hard to do stuff on the side when you have a regular job. Now, meanwhile, I've been not working for like 7-8 months.
Right now,
I've
what's
done
your
nothing.
excuse? Yeah,
I have no excuse. It's horrible.
I mean, so given that I still do lots of stuff, but like.
So what it is an excuse. That's the thing.
Right.
So now I'm off work, and it's clearly an excuse.
Well, right. But to answer your question, I won't be a regular co-host on Juskow's podcast.
But he'll come on
But,
frequently.
yeah, I do
as
when
usual.
I can. I enjoy coming over. Like if I can make it, you know, if I can. It's really
He's here
fun.
today. And we're doing a podcast with little Scotty Gorstein in 10 minutes.
Doing the Oscar podcast.
Picking
so.
the Oscar picks.
Yeah, and that's the one you'll have out on Tuesday, correct?
That's right. Tuesday.
Turbocharge is in the running. I don't know if you saw the
Well, yeah.
short list. So.
And then I taped 2 at the cellar this week. I had Larry from Three's Company on.
That's right. That's right.
It was great. Yeah, it was really, really fun. He's such a sweet guy. And I had that theater critic from the New York Post, too, so that was fun, too.
All right. Well, I'm going to wind us down, gang, since you guys have to get ready for
Hey, you
your
want to see what it looks
podcast.
at of my bedroom window?
Yeah.
Been unplugged this?
I can unplug this because it's just a battery. It's exciting.
While you're doing that, Dave, I'll mention to folks out there that you go to davejuskow.com, get your Turbocharge information. If you go to tpublic.com/user/Turbocharge the movie, you can get Turbocharge swag. Ah.
Wow.
Is that exciting?
You.
That's the big city.
Can you see okay?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also.
Yeah, and remember, you listen to my podcast, here's that crane that's outside my window.
Yeah.
Can you see it?
Yeah.
Thanks to Memo and Dave for joining us. And
No, thanks. This was really. I've been looking forward to this for a long time. This
Yeah,
is
we could
great.
all do it again. I mean, it was super fun. We like talking about the movie.
It's really like a dream come true because from the minute we even discovered that Turbocharge was a thing to the, just being like, we've got to get a hold of these guys. We got to see this somehow because this website is so weird. And then to actually be in contact, to get a copy and get to watch it and then pod about it. And then to actually have you on. I mean, it's just this progression of life just getting sweeter and sweeter.
Next, we're going to show up at your house for dinner. So.
Come on over.
No, that's what we used to say about Frank Stallone. That's how he gave us the rights to use his music, but you have to have him over for dinner too. That was the deal. You could use his music for a year and a half, but you also have to have him over for dinner, and he needs a place to sleep.
wow.
That's Gilbert.
That's right.
Yeah, no, this is awesome. just even somebody giving shit about, asking you questions. Like now it's like, it's nice because most of the time you're just in a room.
It's ironically a dream come true for us, and I'm not kidding. It's really nice.
We appreciate it.
Yeah, we appreciate you guys.
Yeah.
Well, we appreciate you. Thanks for making the sacrifice to come on a podcast with crappy audio. And Memo, it's so great to meet you too, Memo, because you were sort of the because we hadn't connected with you yet, and so it's just so great to meet you finally and get to chat with you.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah.
Thank you for reaching out.
I told you she was cool, right?
Oh, do more Vinnie Barbarino.
Yeah, just take us out with Vinnie Barbarino.
I'll show you a bit of the city, before you took off. I thought you might like it, right? We'll slow down and tram goes by every 10 minutes. I think you'd like that. Somebody like you'd probably enjoy that. This has been a good time. Listen, I'm sorry about what happened before. Sometimes I just get emotional, right?
That's the Rick Ocasek voice you should have used.
I know, I messed up. I don't know what I was thinking.
It sounds like Travolta.
Sometimes I just get emotional. An emotion.
Rick, why are you so tortured?
I don't know. I'm attracted to you.
You told her where you got that voice, right? Do they know where you got that character?
Where did I get it from?
Where did
From
you get it?
No, from what's his name?
No, that was an accident, I think.
Well, that's what I mean.
Levy?
Yeah, from Eugene Levy.
No, we just realized that Eugene Levy was talking like that after we did it. I think.
Really? Because
we just got on the Mighty Wind.
In A Mighty Wind, he plays, like a folk singer.
No, this is the way I just thought Rick Ocasek talked. Because I'd never heard him speak.
Right.
So.
No, I mean I get that, but if you listen,
turned out, we watched A Mighty Wind, or maybe I don't know.
Because it's like if you watch A Mighty Wind, he plays this like really checked out folk singer who was like big in the '60s, and then that. But watch it now with that in mind, and like you'll get. I mean, yeah.
Have you ever seen it?
No,
movie?
I wrote it down.
Then you'll see it's pretty much the same voice.
It's a Christopher Guest parody, like Waiting for Guffman. And,
yeah. There's no way you're not going to enjoy it. I mean,
it's really funny, but he plays Eugene Levy. It brilliantly plays this checked out.
In fact, the song that they sang was nominated for an Oscar, and they sang it him and Catherine O'Hara sang it on stage at the Oscars that year. It was really nice.
Yeah. Which is very similar to when he goes, wasting all my time.
Wasting all my time.
Yeah. Just watch the movie and you'll appreciate it in a whole new level when you watch it.
Where I never get enough of that scene. That might be my absolute.
Actually, one of my favorite scenes that I always laugh at, but no one else does, is when I'm introducing Lang to the band. I think I forget Elliot Easton's name.
David Robbins.
David Robbins. Right. I did it on purpose, but I thought that was part of.
Yeah.
He has Rick doesn't even know the other members of the band, and this is. And that makes me laugh every time I see it because I know, but I don't think anybody else noticed. Well, you guys do now, but this is David Robinson.
Of course.
Right. Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Four of us to enjoy, but
my gosh. The other thing, I know you guys have to go. I know you guys have to go, but the other thing that is so funny to me is Elliot Roberts. Because he has these awesome lines when he's like, yeah, I don't know what to say, fellas. This has never happened to me before, and I've managed two other bands.
And I've managed one other band, or two bands.
Yeah.
Two other bands. And then when he's in the office talking to Holzman, and the guy's like, I got a nose for music, and I got a nose for money. And he's like, do you have a nose for news? And he's like, what? Some people have a nose for news. That'd make you a triple threat.
I mean, John Benjamin will make any. I mean,
his delivery is unbelievable.
You really can't.
It's perfect.
It's so dry.
Are you high? A little.
A little bit. I put that in every movie I ever made. You high, a little bit. Always. Because didn't we do that with Bichetti as well? Wasn't that also in the
when
movie?
He asked Phil with
not today.
Yeah, not today.
Not today.
Okay. Hi, Phil. How you doing?
That was not acting, by the way. He really is that way. That was CG.
Oh, the lights. Off.
But yeah, John Benjamin, like when asking about the suit when after he leaves the dance scene, and he's like, see you later, guys, and I mean, that's all him, and he pops his head back in.
Yeah. Fifth Avenue, Fifth and what? I don't know.
Right. I'll look it up.
The guy went in the thing where John Benjamin's getting a new suit while we're at Live Aid.
Yeah.
That guy, the black guy, that was my old doorman.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's like a gregarious guy. He was perfect.
Yeah, he was perfect. He goes, no, it looks good on you. It looks good. But there's nothing better also where he just says, I have something else to do. I can't come to Live Aid, but he clearly had nothing to do. And he just was like,
but I'm working for you. I'm going to be working for you guys. Because I get you stuff.
That's what I do. Show.
That's what I do. I get you guys. You guys want it?
That's what we wanted to do. Also, we wanted to make, in our minds, we were hoping the movie would be take off not an Oscar way, but in a cult way like this, and then we could make a series. We're like the Monkeys. We always have gigs and we have stupid stuff going on, and then we get our own detective show in the series. I mean, I really wanted it to continue badly. I still do.
I would love it. That would be so
I wanted
amazing.
to do a Cars TV series like the Monkeys, where we get into situations all the time that's even stupider than the movie.
And they have their Cars mobile.
Yeah, we have the Cars mobile. That was totally my plan. That totally like the Cars when they had to Shake It Up or something, and we just pimp that out into something.
And when you go inside it, there's like a whole back room that's like 20 feet long. It's like a secret headquarters type of thing.
Yeah, that was our plan. We wanted to do more. We
so
enjoyed
funny.
the characters.
So funny! Oh my gosh!
We all liked working together.
Yeah,
it was fun.
It was fun.
Oh, thank you so much, Memo. We really appreciate it.
You want? I also have.
What should I do? I should hit the hang up button.
Yeah,
just
hit the little red hang up button.
All right.
Love you
All
guys.
right. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Yeah, bye, you guys.
Bye, David.
Dave.
Thanks
See
for
you.
having us on.
Thanks for being on.
All right. So, Donna.
Hi, Dave. Have you done any news stuff? Do you have news?
No. Do you?
I do. I have a couple of little things that I wanted to bring up. One of them is, I don't know if you remember the Empty Hearts, the new album's supposed to come out on the 14th, February 14th. So I've been kind of waiting to see if there was going to be any pre-sales or anything like that, and they've released a single, there's a video out. But then I hadn't heard anything, and so I actually saw on Twitter somebody asked Elliot Easton, it's coming out February 14th, right? And his response was August.
August?
Yeah, August. So I'm not sure what's up with that. I haven't heard anything else other than that, but it was an official EE tweet. So, yeah. So I'm curious about that. The other thing I wanted to bring up was just to give a shout out to Peter Montgomery and Barry Marshall. Peter Montgomery's in a band called the Montgomerys. They put out a new album called First World Problems. First World Blues. And Elliot Easton plays on, I think, like 9 of the tracks. The interesting thing about it is they're a Boston band, and Barry Marshall, the producer, who also plays on it, I believe, on the album, he knew the Cars back in the 70s. And there's an interview with Becky, our friend Becky, just put the connection together. There's an interview with the band on WBCN. All the guys are there talking, and one of the callers that calls in is this guy, Edgar. He calls in and he wants to know why Elliot doesn't sing more vocals. Well, Edgar is Barry Marshall. He was pretending to be this guy and asked a question about Elliot doing more vocals because I guess behind the scenes they had some conversation about it. And when he calls and says, this is Edgar and I want to know, blah, blah, blah. And David Robinson says, that sounds like Barry Marshall. Like you can hear him call him out. Well, now all of a sudden, 40 years later, we make this connection that here's Barry Marshall, this producer, and he's in a band himself called the Marshalls, and they're playing February 15th in Cohasset, I guess. And anyway, so there's all this sort of historical connection going on. The Montgomery's album, First World Blues, is really good. It's really fun. I really want you to listen to it. I've posted a couple links on the Elliot page, but I'll put some on the Night Thoughts page. Good stuff. Okay. So I just wanted to give them a shout out. Some good stuff going on there.
All right, fantastic.
All right.
All right, well, once again, we thank Mr. Dave Juskow, Mr. Memo Salazar, creators of Turbocharge, for joining us for this spectacular podcast. And hey, as we always say, stay fresh, cheese bags.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to Night Thoughts, the Cars podcast. Wherever you found us, iTunes, SoundCloud, or YouTube, make sure to subscribe and leave a review. Send us an email for the Midnight Scroll at nightthoughtspodcast@gmail.com. As always, Night Thoughts reserves the right to edit or not read an email on the air. You can follow us on Twitter at The Cars Podcast. Grab yourself a podcast t-shirt at tpublic.com/user/nightthoughts. All the cool kids are wearing them. Oh, and finally, search for The Cars Night Thoughts on Facebook and join our group page. P.S. I am totally Team Rick.